Oh, do you know it?
The oldie song?
And that is our open the show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Friends Per Second podcast. I don't even have my mic with me. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Friends Per Second podcast, episode number 97. Is it?
No.
6?
5?
Nope, it's definitely not 5. I think it is.
Definitely not 5.
95.
It is number
96.
96,
Who
right
had
here, right now.
96? Who had 96?
I'm not even hosting, but I was just, I wanted
You've
to
got
make
a
sure we
laptop, you
captured
look like
that.
you're hosting.
I look like I'm
We're
hosting.
getting
You're in the
close.
you're in the host cuck chair.
Getting
That's
close to
right.
the 100. The 100
We
mark.
are getting close to that.
Yeah.
We really do need to talk about that. I'm not going to be traveling internationally, so I don't know what we're going to do about it.
You don't want to do like a big pizza party?
I would love to do a pizza party,
Okay.
but it's, I don't know if you know this, Australia, pretty far from America.
It's far, we know.
It's not close. We'll work something out though. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are here in beautiful Los Angeles, and
As you can see behind us.
as you can see behind us, the beautiful view.
Los Angeles.
That's right.
Fabulous Los Angeles. That's what they say, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Where did
Oh,
they say it?
that's
Is that Las
That's
Vegas?
Vegas.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Same thing.
And we have been here. I've been here since Wednesday last week. You guys have been here since. No, Lucy's been here since Monday.
Mhm.
Jake arrived on Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's
Busy.
been very, very crazy, as all of these things are. So, how you guys been doing?
Good.
Yeah, I've been making sure to go to bed at a reasonable hour
Okay.
every night.
Why is that, Lucy? Did you have some special big thing going on while you were here? Something you want to share with the class?
Quit my job. No. Yeah, so I launched Looking for Game on the Monday in the department. Oh, it's gonna be one of those, isn't it? Where I
Yep,
feel
it is. We're not cutting it
There
either.
we
And
go.
also, it's like I'm not even in the lounge. I don't pay for lounge access because I'm, I was sat in the D8 department gate, departure gate.
Yep.
Help me. Departure gate at SFO, launched the brand, got on a plane 20 minutes after I hit go, and then flew to LA, did all that, went to That Snow Moon. Next day, played Control.
That's right.
Then Summer Game Fest rehearsal, and then did Summer Game
And
Fest.
then did Summer Game Fest. It was
And
incredible.
then play days.
That's right.
You were like on the stage like the whole time. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
you
Yeah.
had like quite a
Yeah.
few big reveals, which we will talk about throughout the
Yes.
show. But yeah, I mean, Jeff didn't give you no dregs. He was giving you some top shelf stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how tired we all are because even you can't get your words out.
I'm getting full my Sean Connery on.
No, yeah, I had when I had the rehearsal on Thursday because I knew some of the games. And I was
Sure.
like, this is some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Now
starting.
you're getting your Sean Connery on.
Yeah,
That's
well,
right. Good stuff.
but no, I mean starting with Code Veronica,
Yep.
and then just Veronica now, and then just
Nice.
A lot of games.
A lot of
games.
Seeing a lot of games, meeting a lot of great people who work on games,
Mhm.
meeting a lot of people who like make content
Yeah.
around video
Totally.
games. It's been a good one.
You know, I met Super Butterbuns finally. I've actually been watching her stuff for years. She's really funny.
Mhm.
She's fantastic. And she was just like, I saw her from across the way and she has a very distinctive hairstyle.
yes.
And I'm like, I think that's her, but I don't want to just assume because it's a woman with a hairstyle. So I'm not going to say anything. And then she came up to me and she has the most distinctive voice imaginable. And as soon as she said hello, I'm like, oh, thank God, it's definitely her, you know? So I think that's one of the best parts of these sort of things,
It's just
actually. Just
seeing
like,
and
yeah,
meeting
meeting
people.
content creators.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to say it. I met H-Bomber guy while we were here.
Yeah, it's
We
very
had-
nice.
we
He
had
was
very cool.
dinner
such
with
a
him.
nice.
Really cool.
We had dinner with
We had
him.
dinner with
Yeah.
him.
He's an incredibly nice
And
dude.
Kat as well.
Yep.
Like we had such a great time with them.
Yep.
Also,
Go on.
I was just gonna say it's cool to talk to developers too.
I was
Like,
going to say the
For sure.
flex was though that we met Fumito Ueda.
that was crazy. Yeah,
that was actually crazy. We
Yeah,
got a
that
photo
was
with
crazy.
him, Ueda from Shadow of Colossus Eco Fame, currently working on Gen Atlas, which was
Mhm.
sort of revealed earlier, but we saw more of it here.
Yep.
Got a photo with him after
did.
his moment at the thing, and we just also had like an hour-long interview with him, Lucy and I. Not
Nice.
recorded, unfortunately, not for
No.
the podcast. But we'll be talking about that later on. But a really fascinating interview.
Yeah.
Just like an incredible person to speak
With one
to.
of the
Like,
greats.
so fascinating, man. Just like, I don't know. Those are the moments that I have when I'm at these things. And I'm like, I never would have imagined when I was like playing Eco back in the day that I would one day be sitting across a table from this guy, just being able to ask him like, why are your games so fucking sad, man? Like, what's up with that? You know?
You good?
Are you okay?
Do you need a hug?
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly very special. And I mean,
I don't take it for granted.
I don't ever take it
No
for
way.
granted. I never forget it. And it never stops feeling special. It's never like, I don't know. I think a lot of industries, you spend time enough in them and you're like, who cares, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, and some aspects of this job, sure, that happens,
Yeah.
right? But I think there's certain moments that still really break through and you're just like, damn, I'm super lucky to do this.
This
thing, you know?
podcast has done a really good. It's been really good for me because I'm more comfortable meeting and talking to developers and
Yeah.
asking them questions now than I ever have.
For
And I've been
sure.
doing this for like over 10 years and going to things.
Mm.
But this year more than ever, I was like, I know how to talk to developers. I know how to ask the right questions. I know how to learn. And I've gotten that from doing this podcast. So
Yeah.
thank you guys.
That's been a really good
It's been
time.
cool. Yeah. A lot of information.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that we're probably going to be talking about in the next podcast.
I was going to say,
Yes.
do we want to do some housekeeping?
Yes, good suggestion. So in this episode, we're actually going to cover we're going to go back to the Sony showcase because we haven't spoken about that yet. Then we're going to jump forward to the Summer Games showcase hosted by Jeff and
Yeah.
Lucy. And then we're going to finish up with the Xbox showcase. However, I haven't seen the Xbox showcase because during that time I was playing Onimusha. There was a
Nice.
theater presentation.
Yeah.
You know, we also talked, we had like a Q&A
You were
with
also playing on Onimusha at that time. So was I.
No, you were a different session. Oh, well, you
No,
had like
we
a.
played
Oh,
it
I
in the
see. Right.
session
Okay.
before you
Got it.
So we were catching up sort of in the car and in between other appointments. So
Yeah,
we haven't
exactly.
seen the full thing.
But we do definitely have some
The highlights
and what have you,
Totally,
for sure.
totally.
So we've got that. We've also got some interviews, and these are particularly exciting for us.
Bangers.
The first interview we'll show you is actually with Ariel Lawrence, who is the game director for God of War Laufey. We had no idea this was going to happen. I got this email while I was on the flight over, and I landed.
Yeah.
As I was on the tarmac, I opened it up, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And Sony Santa Monica's like, "Hey, you want to come out to the studio and speak with Ariel?" We're like, "Yes, we do." So Lucy was busy rehearsing for Summer Games, so she
Yes.
couldn't do it. But Jake and I made it out there, had a
Yeah.
really fascinating chat with her, which was just awesome. And we also, we didn't actually, but Lucy got the chance to speak to That's No Moon.
Yes. So I
About-
went to That's No Moon on Monday. Spoke to Jacob Minkoff and Taylor Kurosaki
Mhm.
about the game and their approach to it, and what it feels like to come out of incubation after 5 years, especially in a game like Crossfire.
That's right. Yeah. So they're the two interviews we got. So it's a huge show. We've actually got another interview in the can, which we won't spoil yet.
Yeah.
We're going to roll that in the next show
Yeah.
when we can talk about like more hands-on impressions of stuff that we've played,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff we've played and a lot of it's under embargo. So that's why we're not covering a lot of that now. So the next episode will have all of that. Please look forward to it.
But there's so much to talk about, so let's just jump into it.
Let's jump into it. Let's just jump. I'm going to do this in the lap for a little bit.
Yeah, I was
But
going
I'm going to take you guys back. I'm going to take you back a whole like.
we do this, by the way.
Tuesday.
And whenever we're together, it's Ralph and a big list.
Yeah.
And he's just like, so what about this? What do you
What
reckon
about this one?
What do
You
you
like
reckon
this
about
one?
Yeah.
No, that one sucked. Well, let's get back to the PlayStation Showcase.
Yeah.
So let's actually very interested. I guess obviously it opened with Wolverine.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about Wolverine, Jake? Tell me, man. Come on, you're a big fan. You're a comic book guy.
Yeah, really cool.
Okay.
My thing is like I feel like I don't know how to describe. There's something about it. Maybe it's like the look of Wolverine. There's some like uncanny weird thing to it. I can't and not uncanny. Yeah, gameplay wise, it looks cool. It looks like you're just doing murder. It's actually surprising how much it just seems like X-Men Origins Wolverine, but like high fidelity. And that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good thing. I
True.
say that with respect.
Yeah, of course.
Gory, crazy, fighting the Reavers, the Reapers. They're like the main
like in
enemy
Mass
faction.
Effect.
Sure.
No, they're like
loose. It's a crossover title.
they're like a band of mercenaries, and in like some of the stories, like they've been beaten already by heroes and people, and like a lot of them have lost limbs to Wolverine. That's why they have like cybernetic limbs and stuff.
They
So
have like a little support club. Like
Yeah.
they meet like every
if you've
Monday
been
night.
personally victimized
That's
by
right.
Wolverine.
You may be entitled to compensation.
Callisto's in it, Jean Grey's in it. It's really interesting to see Jean Grey like set up Wolverine for murder kills.
Yeah.
Like she'll telekinesis a guy in the air while like Wolverine cuts his balls off.
Yes,
Like it's
yes,
insane.
yes.
It's like really gory. Like it's like
It is, and like
really gory.
okay, I will say this. I read actually a piece that was in Kotaku. It was from like John Walker or whatever, and the headline was like something about like we need to talk about the gore in Wolverine.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, okay, what's this take? You know what I mean? And already like all the replies on Twitter were dunking on it. Like, shut the fuck up, Kotaku, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, all right, I'm going to read this thing. And I will say, I think the man had a point. Right. And his point was, I don't think Wolverine is the guy that just mercilessly like carves up every single person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think he has a relationship with violence that's like when he completely loses it, sure, that happens. But he's also working to contain it as much as he can. And he's kind of fighting that urge, as you know what I mean? So like, I think it's cool that it's violent, but it feels like there's so much violence, such relentless violence.
Yeah.
It's like, is it actually a little bit too much? And again, not because I'm against him being violent, but because it stops his violence from meaning anything.
Yeah.
When it's just constant.
When it's just constant, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting take. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely given me something to consider.
Definitely.
And I don't know, I'll see how they balance that. Because maybe most of the time he's not doing that. That was just one mission where he's like, they're kidnapping mutant kids. I'm going to fuck these people up. That's right.
Leech. They got my boy Leech.
They got my boy Leech too. And this cute little beanie. And, you know, but maybe there's other missions where he's like, and maybe there's like narrative stuff for this as well, where like, who knows? But I thought it was an interesting perspective. I would say I like the look of it, of course. I think it looks super fun. I'm into it. I would say though that there is like this real Spider-Man quality to its rhythm.
Definitely.
You know, and like the way that enemies kind of stand or be like, he's in my sights. And like, so that's the audio tell and he can like leap over to them and take them down. And just the look of it just looks very Spider-Man. And I kind of I wonder if there's more than that we haven't seen yet, if you know what I mean, that kind of really mixes up that format a little bit more, that combat pacing. Having said that, as I said, it's going to be fun. I'm into it. I'm glad they're going that direction.
Couple of cool things like obviously they were really good with those Spider-Man finishing moves with how the camera angle would change and how incredible it was. Here it's like when the camera pulls up and his claws come out right in front of the camera and they glint in the sun with that first kill. Really cool. Yeah. Also, I'm sorry, am I boring you?
Sorry, Luce.
Jake talking about cape shit.
No, and I love X-Men. I'm so sorry.
No,
I have
love it.
chronic fatigue syndrome. Jake, you're mocking my
here
illness.
we go.
To be fair, I was in an Xbox showcase today and it was a really good, really interesting one. And I was falling asleep so badly because the jet lag was hitting me
Burning
like a
the
truck to the point where
Yeah.
even someone next to me afterwards was like, bro, you're falling asleep in that shit. And I was in the front row directly in front of the presenter.
The teacher's going to yell at you.
So the presenter, who I can't name yet because it's under embargo, I'm sorry. I'm just jet lagged. Okay. You gave a great presentation. I apologize. I feel like an asshole, but like that was the truth, man. I was fighting for dear life in that room. It was warm. It was dark. Dude, it was like, anyway.
Wolverine cool.
Wolverine
looking
cool.
forward to it. Looks like Spider-Man with blood.
Correct.
But
It
I'm glad
does.
that they're sticking to like not an open world thing.
Yep.
It's like an adventure.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. I agree with that. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is continuing to look pretty rad. Rayman Legends Retold.
Interesting.
Wouldn't have expected them to bring that one back. What do you think?
Sorry, I know. So it's also like I know we've got the aircon cranked in here, but I'm still quite warm.
Sure.
Man, Ubisoft just really throwing it at the walls here.
Yep.
I played a lot of it.
Did you?
Yeah, I was,
did you do
I was
hands-on?
supposed to.
Oh, cool.
They had a hands-on thing just before SGF. I was supposed to, and I
Me too, actually.
You're not going to believe this.
It's
just
like the
play
old
like
one?
Rayman.
Yeah.
It's like the old one?
Yeah.
Nice.
When
Just
the appointment
nicer
came
graphics.
through, I think they sort of said like, like a new Rayman. Like
Yeah,
they didn't say new Rayman, but they sort of hinted like, oh, an exciting look at Rayman. I was like, holy shit, they're remaking the first one.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. Yeah, like for
Or
a new
Rayman,
world.
Rayman 2. What was that called again?
Rayman 2, he takes a piss or something. Do you remember that? Do you remember the magazine ad?
What are you talking about?
At least it's not Rayman number 2.
Rayman number 2.
Rayman 2 piss.
Rayman-
I'm literally Googling it.
Rayman magazine ad.
Yeah, are you thinking of the infamous raunchy Rayman 3 urinal ad that featured the limbless hero peeing?
Yes.
Or people on YouTube, Stu is no doubt adding this image to the podcast right now. Otherwise,
all my brain
famously
is good
carried
for.
it famously carried the tagline: "No arms, no legs, huge features." God bless you, Ubisoft. Get back to this shit,
good
man.
one.
And now
Get-
here they are in 2026 making this new Rayman, and they're like, it's for kids.
That's right.
Cute. It's nice. It's got
It
3D
is a good
graphics.
game.
That's right. It is actually.
There's a guy. There's someone on YouTube. I forget what the channel is called, but he does like really specific challenge runs.
Okay.
And he did one where he did Rayman 2 and 3, I think, without gliding. Like,
Oh,
without
okay.
using a little. Yeah.
Very impressive.
Is that even
impressive.
possible?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Fair
Because
enough.
that guy's just
Very talented.
Also,
Yeah.
just Rayman Legends is good. Like
Sure.
it's
It's a
a
great
good
game.
platformer.
Yeah.
I think like them going with like the critical and fan beloved one.
for sure.
But
It's
what
Michelle
about,
Ansel's last,
Yeah.
right? It was the last Rayman game.
Oh, I'm not
That's
sure.
the only one.
Well,
Oh,
He was
well,
on
yes.
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
did the other one too, but yeah, I think he'd moved on to Wild or whatever by then.
Mm.
What about the original is needs bumping up to 2026?
just looks better, I guess. I don't know, man.
It looks quote unquote better, but it is they
It was
they
always-
changed the art style,
sure, of course.
which I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But having seen it in motion, I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
We also had what else do we have after that? We had Kimuri, which is the one from Ikumi Nakamura.
Yeah,
Was she, you know her?
person behind
And-
Ghostwire Tokyo.
That's right.
yeah.
Yep. And I think
She
that looks
also worked
rad.
on Okami.
Oh,
She did.
Oh,
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
So that's looking pretty sick. Very impressed with that one. I actually thought that was a gacha game when I saw it, and I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
this looks cool." But then it's like a real video game, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
And Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis
Yes.
has been delayed. It was
till
going to be this
February.
year. It's in February
Yeah.
next year now. It was kind of just like, yep, it's Tomb Raider again with dinosaurs.
Mm.
We missed that
Raiding
era.
Tombs.
Speaking of dinosaurs, The Lost Wild.
This was cool.
This
This was
was
on
one-
my my list.
And this is one I can talk about actually because
Ooh.
I actually saw a behind closed doors presentation of this one,
Okay.
and it's not under embargo, so I can talk about it.
Mm.
But anyone who missed it, it is essentially it's a dinosaur survival horror game, and that can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
can be like Dino Crisis, or it could be
Or some piece of shit on Steam.
exactly right. There are so many of those, by the way. But this one, it turns out, is actually essentially like Alien Isolation, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the setup is that she just kind of there's a woman, she wakes up in a forest, doesn't know how she got there, and all of a sudden she's like creeping through the forest, and then she sees like someone who's like speaking Japanese, and he's like, whatever, saying things, and then all of a sudden dinosaur like grabs him, literally just bites his torso in half, and then she's just like, what the fuck, man, crawling under the thing. That dinosaur
First
is
person or third? I missed this one.
it's all first person. Yep.
Cool.
That dinosaur was kind of then like hunting her as she was making her way through things, so she had to be quiet. Then sort of you're making your way through this. Pretty sure it's like a big island. It definitely has Jurassic Park vibes. And eventually made her way to an area where she had to kind of like manipulate her environment to sort of because she was sort of trapped in a space.
Okay.
And the dinosaur was like in the same space with her, hunting her in very close quarters. And so she had to like throw things to make noise and turn out light bulbs and all this sort of stuff and, crouch and whatever. Super tense. It really nailed the vibes. The dinosaur was genuinely terrifying. Audio was fantastic.
What
Made
kind of was it like a velociraptor or
No, it was like a dinosaur that I don't know. Like
Okay.
I forget the name of it. But just imagine like a tiny Tyrannosaurus. That's
Oh,
what it
nice.
kind of what it
Cool.
looked like.
Mm.
And it's a real dinosaur. They didn't make the shit up. Anyway, so but it really nailed the tension. Like I really felt it. And it's a small team. This guy actually made like a mod of this years ago in like CryEngine
Yeah.
as a hobby project.
Yeah.
And then he came back to it like 10 years later and then got a team built around it. Yeah, got funding from Annapurna, and now it's on the way. And it looks pretty sick.
Ooh,
Like
I think I have that appointment tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it. It's a really good showcase, actually, because we see some of these things sometimes, these behind closed doors sessions, and sometimes they kind of just show you stuff you've already seen, or they give you like a very brief snippet. Well, I won't say which game it is. Like one game today, they did like a behind closed door session of something, and then they invited us in. They played a trailer that we'd already seen before, and then they said, "Any questions?" And I was like, and I didn't do it, but I wanted to be like, "Yes, why are we here?" You know what I mean? Like, but no, this was actually a really great behind closed doors presentation. You will love it. So,
hyped.
yeah. Next up was actually Phantom Blade Zero, one we've had on our
Yes.
radar for a while now. Lucy, you played that one during the show.
Did. So I had an hour and half an hour I got to play the game, and half an hour was a behind closed doors thing that I can't actually really talk about
Okay. Till next episode.
till no, I don't even think then.
Oh, okay, right.
So
Like,
I, could
right, just later
I
on.
played Phantom Blade for half an hour. And so what I will say is that in the kind of, as character action games are becoming even more popular, it's kind of funny going between, one and another in a short space of time.
Yeah.
Phantom Blade, I think for me, really, right now in this preview stage, is kind of delivering on the really over-the-top power fantasy promise.
Right.
I don't think that what I was doing, as I sat down, I said to the demo guy, I was like, I'm not good at this game because I played it at Gamescom. It was here a couple of years ago at Summer Game Fest at Playdays, and I remember being bad at it. And now I'm just like, I feel I understand the rhythm of it more, and it's just more and more over the top. There are some things that I was doing in that game, and I was like, oh, I'm great. I am sick.
That's a good feeling.
And that's the thing. It's like you play something like Sekiro for the challenge, and it's a very specific way of playing.
Yes.
A little more prescribed in how you have to react to things. Whereas Phantom Blade, I just felt like I was crushing it.
Okay.
And so
Cool.
It looks really good, plays nicely. I'm excited to see more of it. It's when I say over the top, I can't talk about the behind closed doors stuff really, but some of the stuff I saw is wild.
Okay,
So-
excellent. I've been tracking this one since forever. I've played it a
Yeah,
bunch of times
me too.
actually, and I'm going to play it more tomorrow and do some capture on it. So, yeah, I think it's looking very promising. I will say that. I put a huge amount of work into it. I remember playing it at first. I was like, okay, yeah, this is interesting, but a lot of work to go. And then I played it last year. Actually, I was like, whoa, they put
The jump has been
the jump is massive, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a real proper video game now, and it's actually looking really good. Dune Awakening is headed to consoles with a single player mode.
Very
That's
cool.
nice.
Sweet.
Lisan Al Gaib.
That's right. No Rest for the Wicked hitting 1.0. That's happening in October.
I want to go
And
back to that.
that was fantastic. I'm actually super pumped.
Yeah.
And it's skipping Xbox at least at first because of Series S. Damn, hate to see
I
it.
thought they.
Oh, no, that happens all the time, by the way.
Okay,
It's
there's a
it
really
feels like
weird
there's
noise
people
happening.
throwing rocks at the window, but it's not. It's just we're 10 floors up.
Air pressure.
Anyway, No Rest for the Wicked looking fantastic. Onimusha, Way of the Sword. That is one we will be able to talk about next episode.
Yes,
Let's just put it
got
that
a lot
way.
to say.
But
Yes.
the trailer, obviously, it's more of what we've seen before, and it looks really cool. Silent Hill Townfall is...
Can't wait. I've got that. Am I allowed to say I have that appointment?
Yeah, you can say there's behind closed doors for it.
I'm
Yep.
going to see it tomorrow,
That's
baby.
right. It's not playable here, but it is behind closed doors.
I was
have-
skeptical of that one, but I've been impressed by
Why
the
do you
trailers.
hate the British?
That's what it is.
It's a natural
I hate
reaction, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
I go,
Yeah.
ooh.
Ooh.
Ew.
Um,
Why are your teeth like that?
it is looking very cool. Ace Combat 8, Wings of Thief. I'm actually super pumped for this one.
Yeah.
I love the melodrama of it. They're just leaning into it 1,010%.
I'm happy they
Love
exist.
that.
I've
Yeah.
never played one, but
You've never played
no,
one?
But people tell me about them, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Dude, I
Every
played
time.
Ace Combat back on the PS2, and then I didn't play any of them
Yeah.
until I played 7.
Yeah,
And
seven's
then I'm like,
crazy, apparently.
actually, this rules.
Yeah.
It's super good. The mission design is incredible. You just think, oh, just flying planes around. But when you actually look at how they've built this game and how they've designed missions, it's incredibly good. You really should make the time for it. It's super worth it. But make sure you do it on stick, though. It's definitely worth it. Stuntman Hollywood. How are we feeling about Stuntman coming back in the year of our Lord 2026?
I'm happy it's back.
Yeah, when
Yeah?
you were looking, Stuntman made a reappearance.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I definitely did not expect that, but I think it's cool.
I know why you like it.
Why.
It's got a DeLorean in it.
It does have a DeLorean in it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It also has Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah, it does.
Which is really cool.
It
It
does.
has kind of like a Mad Max and like a.
But it's not Mad Max,
It looks
though.
like Death Race Mad Max.
I'm not sure what it
legally
is.
distinct
yeah,
Mad Max.
legally
Yeah.
distinct Mad
Fine.
Max.
Whatever, it's cool.
Yep.
Fast and the Furious, stuff like
Yep.
that. Which that IP thing kind of makes sense for Stuntman.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Agreed.
So I'm
agreed.
excited to see how it is.
It's a nice twist.
Yeah.
Ill actually emerges as one of the most promising games in the showcase. I think it's that first-person survival horror that's just super gory.
The icky one.
The icky one. It's from Mundfish, or at least they're publishing it.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
made by a different developer. But yeah, always it just looks like a lot.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be instantly
Looks gross.
demonetized
Can't wait.
when we review
Oh,
it.
man. Yeah.
But that's fine, man.
Yeah, we've been
You know?
tracking that one for a long time. Back when it was just it had to have been a really small team, and they were just
Sure.
putting videos on Twitter.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's
been
right.
interesting to see how it's stuck to that original vision.
Yes.
But there's obviously so much more going on now with the
Yeah.
trailer. I think that'll be cool.
Control Resonant.
Yeah.
What is the embargo for that? Is that
It's up.
It's up.
It was
Okay, right.
it was
cool.
SGF.
Okay, cool.
Friday.
But then we're going to talk about that next episode.
Yes.
Because Jake and I haven't yet played it.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so we're going to do some stuff on it properly next
Yeah.
episode. But
Big
it's look that
interview.
trailer though that they showed at SG. Oh, because they showed a trailer here and they showed another one at SGF.
Yeah.
Correct.
The SGF trailer I thought was like amazing.
Crazy.
It was
yeah.
like so beautiful. Some of the framing of it was just like,
Yeah.
oh,
They're
I loved it.
cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause
Remedy is remedying.
I played like 2 hours hands on.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
awesome. Awesome.
Which I think you're doing tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yep.
And I also spoke to the team.
Cool. TLDR though, you liked it, right? We're not going to
I like it a lot.
Okay, cool.
For
Awesome.
Remedy doing third-person character action game,
Yeah.
doing it really well.
Yeah. God, they're talented, man. That's nuts. We had a brief trailer for Marathon. Can I just say very briefly?
We did.
Yep, exactly. That's my
when
point.
I was like, I need a water. And
Can I just say, because I think the Marathon community need a little bit of love right now, I think Sony did Marathon super dirty in this showcase because, like, if you want that game to succeed, you can't just give it a 45-second trailer where it's just pitch black the whole time and no one knows what the fuck is going on. It was like literally launching like the night map or whatever, or like the night variation of one of the
That's
maps.
cool. It's spooky.
I mean, yeah, but like if you kind of know what it is and you have some connection to it, you might think, oh, that's a cool spin on it. But a lot of people still have not like stepped into that world. And so like, I don't know, man. I just feel like I think Sony could have done a lot more with that. They are doing a free weekend, but that's over by the time this airs, I think. Either way, man, I feel like they really dropped the ball on that one. Until Dawn 2.
Crazy. Did not
Very
see it.
unexpected.
Neil Newborn in that one?
Yeah, is he the old guy that everyone's like, who is this guy? Is he that
Yeah,
character?
he's cool.
Like,
He's
does
like
anyone know
kinda-
who that guy is?
Yeah, he's kind of like scary too.
Yeah.
like, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
is he
just
there
seems
just
like-
to hit on teenagers or whatever? He's like one of those old guys that just rocks up.
We'll
Like,
have to
That
play the game to
character?
find out. Yeah.
that's right.
No, I mean, Until Dawn, I loved the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I really enjoyed it. I think just the branching paths and just how weird everything got and just, I don't know, how game everyone who was in that game kind of knew what they were doing and
Yeah.
what game they were in.
Yep.
I think other Supermassive things have been very hit or miss for me. I really enjoyed The Quarry, but like
Yeah.
Man of Medan and stuff didn't.
Yeah. I
Didn't hit
played
House of
Directive
Ashes.
8020 recently.
But this
Yeah.
is not Supermassive.
Isn't it?
No,
yeah, it's
no, but
not.
that's
No,
what I'm
that's
saying. So
right,
it's
yeah.
like, you see those go one way and then
Yes.
who's picking up Until Dawn 2?
Fire Sprite.
Fire Sprite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of hope it goes back to the promise and the originality of the first game.
Yeah, like keep that energy.
Mhm.
And then it's just like now instead of it being snowy, now it's on a tropical like Love Island.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why not?
A hot
Yeah.
new bombshell.
Yep.
Wait, who's the hot new bombshell? Neil
I don't know,
Newman?
there was some
Neil's
sex scenes in there, you know.
character.
It was doing that thing. And finally, biggest reveal, of course, was God of War Laufey, which is
Not
the
Laufey,
next-
which is what I thought.
Yeah.
But she's
Laufey,
the
nope.
singer.
a new game in the God of War series. It is, if anyone missed it, the opening of God of War 2018 when they're like cremating, Kratos' wife. We were like watching this and we're like, oh no, is it a remaster? Sony doing their remaster thing again. That was actually Stu in our Discord that said that. And thankfully, no, you then see her spirit go up into the afterlife or whatever, and you think, okay, and then Kratos is like, your mother's at peace now, Atreus. Turns out, not so much.
No.
It's literally Doomslayer in hell, like
Yeah, that's right. So it's actually Kratos' wife, Laufey or Faye, fighting her way through the underworld or like the
afterlife of the gods.
It's called something. What was it called again? I forget now. The in-between or something. No, it's not that. It's like Everwhere or something like that. And
Tomorrow.
so it's basically where all magic comes from and where it returns to, and it also happens to be the afterlife of the gods. So you've got all these different gods in there from different places, like different mythologies and whatever else. But there was Egyptian gods, there was Mongolian. She said there were other ones, but Ariel, but she didn't say which. But yeah, what do you guys think? What did you think of this trailer?
Yeah, I mean, there have been rumors about another God of War for a long time. I think enough time has passed. Like it's been a couple of years, and I'm excited, selfishly, like for it not to be Kratos for a while. I want to see another character.
Yeah.
I want to there's just so much rich mythology to explore in that franchise,
For sure.
and I'm excited we're getting to see it through another character's eyes.
I want Kratos, but I think they're doing the right thing by being upfront saying like we're still making Kratos games, but we're doing this right now.
I think that's smart too.
That's good. And I think with this character, like it feels earned. Like I like the way they set her up. Like 2018, she was vague. Ragnarok, they set her up. So I think this is cool. And I'd honestly I'm more interested in her than playing as like Atreus.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know?
Nothing, no disrespect to Atreus.
No.
But
But just like, I think it's a really interesting hook because like family and the drive has been like a very powerful thing with the recent games.
yeah,
And this is a woman trying to get back to her like husband and
Yeah.
son.
yeah.
And we assume, like we don't exactly know what she's fighting
No,
for,
she's
but you
like, "Fuck them."
assume
That's
that's
what I was
right.
gonna
I'm
say.
out of here.
My
That's
husband's
right.
so mean. Sucks. Why is he so cranky?
Would it hurt? Smile a bit for Kratos? Would it
Oh,
hurt?
hang
You
on
know,
with this cube.
that's right.
Yeah, I think like that angle's cool, and like I'm into the potentially really tying in and kind of weaving through 2018
Totally.
and Ragnarok.
Mhm.
Like,
That would be
to
amazing.
me is interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah.
The visual style from what we've seen, it wasn't really doing it for
Okay.
me. It just kind of felt like this like vague
Mishmashy kind of thing.
mishmashy battle world that
Mhm.
kind of looked like kind of ugly. I couldn't put my finger on it.
I love that personally. I feel like because
Yeah, really.
there's such a defined visual language for the last two games.
Yeah.
Because they were two games on the trot in the same sort of setting with
Yeah.
whatever. This one was like completely different.
Yeah.
Throw it all out, different color palettes, different textures at times. Like it just felt completely different, and I really loved that. It also made it because this idea of like all of the different gods,
That's a cool idea.
and
Yes.
I think that naturally necessitates a sort of more of a mishmash of art styles and whatever, because you're drawing from so many different, histories and artistic traditions.
I really think it might just be like I'm not getting what they're going for yet.
Sure.
It's the beginning of the game.
For sure.
Honestly, the whole different gods thing, it's like probably so great for video games because it's going to mean a bunch of different biomes.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
So,
So it was
dialogue though.
okay.
The whole conversation about stuff like that.
Yeah.
With like the kind of, I don't know what you call it, like quippy
The
dialogue.
quippy, like the Whedon-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you
the
think
only
about this?
the only thing it was like, oh, you're a talking sword, and I was like, but I didn't mind the cube. I didn't mind any of that because for me, 2018 and Ragnarok had like a talking goofy squirrel. Brock and Sindri are
Yeah.
weird and goofy.
Yeah.
Like there's been things in the newer God of War games that are a little lighter,
Of course.
sillier.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
But it's
like,
also
yeah.
like mythology is full of those sorts of things,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that never bothered me really. And
Yeah.
I'm also like, I don't know. I think that when it comes to these sorts of things, we have to see more of something than like just the opening
Definitely.
20 minutes.
not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, that's right. Because if this was like that for 20 hours straight, I'd be like, oh, okay, that sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
But if there's like a really nice balance and they just kind of land it correctly, then sure, I'm okay with
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to judge it just yet.
The only thing, the big thing for me though is just like all that. Like we'll see how that falls, but for me, like I'm definitely in on the combat because I just like their combat.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I like this is just building on what they've done with the last two games.
sure.
Get
for sure.
crunchy.
Hell yeah!
Jack Quaid, man.
Yep.
Also, love
Frank
to say
the
it.
cube.
Frank the Cube.
with a
like
PH.
the spelling of Frank though is
A
like
Awesome. It's
PHARANQUE
I
or
love
something.
that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Would kill in Scrabble if you could use proper
Yeah,
nouns.
but I guess before we throw to the interview with Ariel, any final thoughts on the Sony showcase? Any
Solid.
solid?
good.
Solid.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
A.
Okay.
Things to look forward to. Yeah.
They finally got games.
I would say that like it wasn't a haymaker kind of event,
Mm.
but it was solid. And would if someone didn't own a PS5, is this the kind of show that would make them want to buy a PS5 right now? I don't know. I don't think
Wolverine for
that-
some people, maybe.
Wolverine
Yeah.
for some people.
Yeah.
I agree. If you're really deep on it, for sure.
Mhm.
Marvel Tokon for fighting fans, absolutely. God of War, if you were holding off because you maybe had your PS4, this is the first exclusive
Mm.
God of War game, PS5
Yeah.
exclusive. So, yep. But yeah, there's also a solid third-party lineup there, but many of them are also coming to other platforms, like PC and Xbox as well.
Mm.
So overall, I think it was good. It was solid.
good.
I enjoyed it.
If you went to see it at an Alamo Drafthouse Theatre,
I don't think it was.
I would like to know about that.
Yeah,
What
I don't think
that
it was like worth that.
What was that
What
like?
is that? What are you talking about?
So Sony owned the Alamo Drafthouse movie
Okay.
theatre chain,
Okay.
and they did screenings of State of Play.
Did they really?
And they had like special Wolverine menu items.
Okay. All right.
But
nice.
it's like I've never heard of that.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
well, I think Game Awards or something has been put in cinemas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For State of Play.
Well, I think this is a fantastic opportunity to cut over to our interview now with the game director for God of War, Laufey, Ariel Lawrence. And as I said, we got that invitation, had a really great chat with her. Not much else to say, really. So we should roll the tape.
Now, next up, this message is sponsored by Raycon. That's right, Jake here with a solo sponsor spot. Today, we're talking about Raycon's Essential Open Earbuds. We've talked about these on the podcast before because they're just solid. And with Father's Day right around the corner, dads are tricky, man. My dad especially. I never know what to get him. But a couple of years ago, I got him a pair of these, and he still talks about them. Of course, he's really picky, so I tried them for myself first, and the open ear design just is awesome. It fits right on your ear, but it sits over your ear, meaning you can still get sound coming in, meaning if you're going for a walk on a busy road or you just need to generally hear what else is going on, you have the Raycon audio quality, but you're not completely blocking out the world. Plus, they stay on your ear. They're durable. They have the great handy dandy charging carrying case. I tend to wear these when I'm doing yard work and stuff because I know I can hear my environment around me. But again, they make a great Father's Day gift. My dad has been like, Jake, these are great. He talks about them constantly. So if you want to check them out, there's a reason Raycon has over 3 million customers. And if you don't like them, they have a 30-day guarantee. But for your dad, hook them up, upgrade your dad's everyday routine, right? Go to buyraycon.com/friendsopen to get 15% off. Yes, that is buyraycon.com/friendsopen for 15% off. Check them out, and big thanks to Raycon for sponsoring the podcast.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us.
Yeah.
Glad you guys are here.
We got to ask the obvious question. You just revealed the game. Everybody, I feel like, always has a different answer, though. But like, the game is finally revealed. How are you feeling? How is the team feeling now that people have seen it?
I mean, I think we're just really excited that the surprise is finally out there. We've been trying to keep it under wraps for a while. So now it's just nice to be able to talk about it with other people and to share it and to just see everybody's reactions to it. So it's always really exciting for the team. It's a big morale booster to just be able to share what we're working on.
And are you guys like sitting in a room together when this trailer, like during the showcase, like watching it all together at once? Or like, what's the actual process of this happening?
So we have on the team floor, we have a projector, and so we all kind of gather in each other's cubicle spaces and watch it together. And so we're right there clapping along with everybody else for the showcase, right. and so we watch it together. Absolutely,
sure. And would this have been the first time that, because it's such a massive team, I imagine, is this the first time that a lot of people would have seen a lot of other people's work, or like was this the first time people would have seen it combined in this way? Or
so we definitely watched our piece as a team before it was shown to the public. But I think with the team this big, it's sometimes hard. You're so focused on the thing that you're working on to really see all of the pieces come together. And, a lot of times, especially for the end of the pipeline, hearing it with the final mix and the sound coming in, the music coming in and stuff. So it's always really thrilling for the whole team to see it that way.
Well, we're both, I mean, I think everyone's kind of really interested in your history with the franchise because we obviously,
you've been around.
We didn't really know that. And I think it was the same.
Makes me feel old.
No, I mean, because we're like, okay, there's a new director. Okay, who is this person? Oh, okay, how long have they been with the studio? Oh my God. Okay, right. So be really interested to just sort of hear in more detail about your history with the studio and history with the franchise.
Yeah, so I started with Santa Monica in 2003. I was like fresh out of college. I was a film student and they needed somebody to cut trailers. And so I started here doing that. And the first trailer piece that I worked on was what we showed at Tokyo Game Show. And it was really early days. The game was still called Dark Odyssey back in the day. But, they were looking for somebody who just could edit footage. And I happened to be in the right place at the right time. And it was it was such a kind of welcoming environment, and having grown up playing games, I was just really excited. And so I asked if I could just do some more stuff around here. So I ended up kind of being a production assistant and still editing and taking screenshots. So all those videos and screenshots of early God of War, it's probably me playing at that point.
That's awesome.
Production assistant, I was getting food for the team and running late night ice cream runs and, all the things that needed to happen. And we were a small team. We were like maybe 35-ish people.
Wow.
And every game we kind of got bigger, and I stayed in production, but I always, my film background, I just gravitated a lot to story. So on God of War 2, I was kind of shepherding the whole cinematic pipeline at that point, and probably too young to know that I was like I don't know, learning on the job a lot of just how we build those things, and then just evolved. And I've probably production wise, I've been a producer for almost every department on the team at some point in time, and that just led from one thing to another. And then I was basically on every God of War until 2018. And even then I was with Corey on the, as we worked for the first 2 years of pre-production on that. But I just had to kind of figure out who I was after a little while. And so I left. It was really hard because, this is like my family, but I wanted to know if, what was out there besides, Kratos and Santa Monica, and went into the world, did some stuff, but I miss this place so much and the people here, and just being challenged. Every time we do one of these big games, it's something new, and like, how do we build on our success? Like, nobody here wants to just be like, oh, we could just do the same thing again. How do we actually make it different and push ourselves? And I missed that. I didn't realize how much I craved that until I came back.
Yeah.
Your fingerprints are all over the franchise. So do you have like a favorite? Can you legally say you have a favorite God of War game?
I don't know if I have. They all have a special. It's like picking children, right? Like I don't know if they have as I can say one way or the other. But I think for me, God of War 2, we were a growing studio, and people were surprised by the first game, and Sony came back to us and said, that was really great, do it again, and then do it in 2 years. And the first game took a while to, come together. And so, we were going to be one of the last ones on the PS2, and just really, how do we push every inch of juice out of that machine? How do we make a game that's even more adventurous and exciting and violent, and just expand Kratos' story? So I think that one probably left a big impression on me. But each one of them, has been a different creative challenge, and has been, I don't know, very exciting all the way through.
2 is the best. So,
all right, there we go. Coming back to something you said a moment ago about sort of leaving and coming back, because we actually bumped into Eric Williams in the lobby, and he was the director of God of War Ragnarok, and he actually told us, we were talking about this very thing where many people leave Santa Monica to then, do something else, and then they eventually come back because they realize that they, this is just the best place to work, he says. And I was just curious in terms of your perspective on that. Like, what is it that makes this studio so good that people want to keep coming back to it even after they go and see, these greener pastures?
I mean, I think that it really is that kind of creative challenge, but it is a place where you can feel safe because we're all pushing the same way, right? Like, there's not competition between departments or any of that stuff. We're really all coming together to make something really awesome. And I think sometimes just being someplace where you can be pushed and take on risk and go after something big, but do it with a group of people who are all pulling that together. Like, I think that's just exciting, and it's it makes me happy to come to work every morning to be with this team, and and it's just kind of a special place. I think there's we're honest with each other. We're not trying to like shelter each other during critique or anything, because we all know that what we're doing is trying to push the best experience, the best story, the best presentation, all of these things together.
So how do you essentially get tapped for leading the next God of War game? Like, how does that even start? What are the conversations like?
So when I was thinking about coming back to the studio, I started talking to people, and when I came back as the lead writer for this project. And when I was interviewing with, coming back and talking with people, it was, I wasn't quite sure exactly what we were going to be working on. I just assumed it was a Kratos game. And when I came back, I found it was a Faye game, and I was ready to be kind of lead writer. And Corey's responsibilities to the studio as the head of creative now, like, we've got so much stuff going on and so many projects going right now that just how to shepherd a team like this and just keep them going was not kind of like a day-to-day thing that he'd be able to do all the time. So he and I've worked together for a really long time, and they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I think that I just said yes. And I think it was scary, and I think for me the best kind of experiences of my career have been, saying yes to an opportunity that I wasn't sure I was ready for, and then just trying to kind of meet that challenge as best I could. But I it's a thrill and an honor to basically lead this team. Like they're just an awesome group of humans.
And how big is the team now? Because obviously Sony Santa Monica is X size, and I don't even know what that size is, and then working on multiple projects. So how many people are, generally speaking, working on Laufey?
I mean, it's the full brunt of the SMS team,
Okay.
but I don't know how we like calculate all of our partners and friends who help us in all of the different departments.
Sure, of course.
Right?
Of
so,
course.
Pretty big. I don't know. I'd say like, on par with Ragnarok size.
Okay.
So
Yeah, right.
not small.
Yeah. And how have you found that process of managing that many people and being at the top of that pyramid? Like, what's that been like for you?
I think for me, it's really what can I do to help the team achieve the best results and be as creative as possible and problem solve as best as possible. So it's like my job to be able to see the project at kind of that 30,000 foot view, but really be able to deliver the advice, the comments, the ideas at the personal level so that people can actually like achieve the work and do that and feel good about the work that they're doing, that this is all going to come together. So it's exciting. It's, can be kind of intense a lot because it's a lot of context switching. So, my day is just a ton of different kinds of meetings. And so going into each one and, being aware of what's going on and talking about the specificity of that particular problem or, creative idea. I think that's one of the things is just we have so many people who are so creative, and want to make great games that they like, well, how about this idea? Or how about this character? Or what if we did this? And taking each one of those things and thinking about, does that help us tell Laufey's story? And the trust that they put in me, I don't take for granted. It's my job to help keep this, game on the rails and get it out the door. So I don't know. It's been an awesome responsibility. It's been in all the senses of awesome.
Yeah. And I think sort of at a more high level, because obviously you started in this industry at a time when you could make a game like God of War with 30 people.
Yes.
And now you're here, we're making a game, takes hundreds of people. And what are your reflections on what that's like in terms of how this industry has evolved? Because I imagine there are good and bad things when it comes to that kind of evolution.
Well, I think that, the amount of people, brings more ideas to the table, which is always great to be, considerate, to see things maybe that you wouldn't have seen before. But kind of holding on to all of those ideas at the same time is, it becomes a lot to juggle in there. But, there's so many specialties now that we maybe didn't have. I mean, on God of War in 2005, Kratos didn't have eyelids. Like he didn't have, it was a painted texture for his eye. And now the amount of humans it takes to, not only sculpt our face and texture and rig and animate and render and all of the things, it's a lot of people. And, we're trying to push as hard as we can to make that the best we can. It's...
Do you still get to use that film background now? Like, especially as someone who was an editor, do you still have that editor?
As an editor, so when I went to film school, I studied a lot of different things, but I do miss a good camera cut every once in a while. But I think that, the Oneer style really makes us be intentional about the things that we're doing. And I think actually one of the blessings it is when we go to do like PCAP sessions, we film the whole scene in a Oneer, and it's not like going to go back and pick up, somebody's close up or, do an insert on something. And so what we really do is get the moment of people being together. And for me, it's actually more like filming live theater. But we do as much rehearsal with camera and as our actors to just make sure that we're in the right places at the right time.
Yeah.
But it's like just one more thing that we have to think about when putting it all together.
Speaking of casting and mocap and what have you, obviously you've got Deborah Ann Wall returning. What's it been like working with her, and how has that process been? And yeah, I mean, she already in that trailer, I just think turned in such a powerful performance just from that first 20 minutes alone. So what else?
Deborah kicks some ass. She's so... she's just so present. She has such good energy. Going to set with her is amazing. And she brings it in the booth. She brings it to stage. She she challenges us too on like what would Faye do in this situation, and that becomes a great conversation about how to bring that character to life. So I think it's been maybe fun to be a little bit more of an action hero and to do like amazing, awesome things. So I think she's having a good time.
Yeah.
What about Jack Quaid? How did that work out? 'Cause
Yeah, how did that even happen?
He's a gamer. So did he just like walk in, or
Is it like knock on the door, like, "Hey guys, you got anything for me?"
He's been a friend of the studio, I think, for a little while, and he was helping us out with some Sons of Sparta stuff, and I think just Jack's presence and his kind of like honesty, his kind of like earnestness just felt right for Frank. And so when we were thinking about who could lend their voice to Frank, and somebody was like, "Oh, well, maybe would Jack Quaid work?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And so we asked the right questions, and it worked out.
Sure.
But he's great.
So Frank is a gelatinous cube.
He is a cosmic cube. Yes.
He is a cosmic cube. Got it. Okay, right. So I think definitely one of the points of sort of discussion that's emerged about the game, since its reveal was, just some curiosity about that character and how they fit into the overall story and the tone of the game as well. Because I think obviously people are always worried about, like kind of quippy writing and where that fits in things or whatever else. So how do you feel this character like fits into this universe, and what kind of spirit is Frank bringing? And do you feel like the concerns that people might have about that, it's going to be fine when they see the full product?
I think that there's not a ton of dialogue in the game reveal for how long it is. So I don't know if they've seen like a full picture of Frank's humanity in there. But I think for us, we always want to have a range of presentation for somebody's character. And so that, Kratos is like very serious and a lot of the time. And so around him, we can have a certain amount of levity. And I think for us, being able to tell kind of a full extent of Faye's character, she's a little bit different approach to the world. We can kind of ride that line a little bit differently. But for us, it's, Frank's he's not an unserious character. I think for me, it's most important as a kind of a presence in the everyone and a kind of a being of magic that, he's very into being here, being in this moment. And for Faye, who is kind of distracted by getting back to Kratos and Atreus, and for Rue, who's also, concerned about the future, but like everybody has kind of drifting from this moment. Mm-hmm. Frank kind of helps anchor them in a way that I hope will be interesting and challenging for Faye as she kind of moves through her story.
I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of, I had watched the video you put out, you guys put out with you and Corey talking, and you did mention something about every God of War coming with a different challenge. So, like, what is the top level challenge for Laufey?
I think for this is just the creative risk of being able to tell a story that's not Kratos, but within our world. How do we take 20 years of experience building a character and kind of start over a little bit, but also expand our world? Like, how is Faye that yes and to the God of War universe? And, how do we, we've had kind of 20 years to evolve Kratos, like game over game over game of what he can do and how he approaches the world. How do we do that from the start? Like all that learning, and just, all the other things too. Like, how do we grow our approach to level design and combat and art and technology and all these things? Like, what is the next evolution? And for us, just how do we challenge ourselves? Like, where's the surprise in it for us as well? So it's been the fun part.
Yeah. And I guess sort of drilling down into that. So this has been in development since 2020?
I think that Faye as a character has been in Corey's head for, I don't know, 10 years.
Okay.
Long time.
Okay.
And I think he probably pitched Deborah on when she was hired for Ragnarok about the future. And I think he told her about a Faye game. And so she said even keep it under wraps longer than that. But, I think when I came back to the studio, both Faye and Frank were in kind of early development of where their story and the everyone, like, where is it going to go?
Yeah.
So I don't know how long that is. It's I came back in 21, so
in that ballpark, yeah.
Is there a sort of sorry?
No, please.
Is there a sort of kind of big grand picture or plan? Because I mean, I've heard you speak about how we're going to see more of Kratos in the future too. So, like, is there a big idea, or is it still kind of like
that's Barlog's job? I think that idea of just where does the we've talked about the remakes coming, and going forward, more stories for Kratos, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, coming back to the sort of foundations of Laufey, because I mean, you mentioned like how do we push ourselves and how do we change this and that. And I'm interested because obviously the foundation of this, I imagine, is a story. It's a story of Faye. But then, outside of just that sort of narrative pitch, like what were some of the goals the studio set for themselves when they imagined what this project would be like, as opposed to, Ragnarok or 2018 or any other game before it?
Well, I think, delivering that kind of like new hero to the space and just seeing like, is this something that we can do? And expanding the world of possibility of storytelling. I think there's, a lot of expectation for us to do a certain thing in a certain kind of way. And, how can we maybe surprise players a little bit and push that in a different direction? And see an experiment with like different mythologies. I think for us, just, we're looking for that epic feeling and the different folks from different mythologies. How do we actually do that, right? So the everyone as a kind of concept was like, oh, this is a way that we can actually meet different mythologies and organically. And that was super exciting.
And the everyone is wholly new, right? Like
Yes.
this is like a new addition to the God of War.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think every mythology has kind of a concept of a place beyond like the mortal plane. And I think for us, the question was, well, maybe what if all of those places beyond are like the same place?
Okay.
So I think that was for us that kind of like a little bit of a twist on that.
Yeah.
And then
Is it
following that
is it the afterlife for the gods, or is it more than that?
the afterlife of the gods. So it's this place where all magic originates and
Okay.
all magic returns to.
Right. I see.
So it happens to also be the afterlife of the gods. So
Okay.
it's
One thing because obviously this is a broad pantheon, because we saw, I think, Egyptian gods, Mongolian gods. Do we see any other gods that are already recognized?
you certainly see them. There's more in
Got
there.
it. Okay.
So
Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat right now. Sorry.
no worries.
Really curious about how you go through the process of developing the stories for those gods in a way that is sort of true to their history and sensitive to the realities of the history and cultures behind them, while also still being able to put your own unique stylized spin on them. How does that work?
Yeah,
Like, how did you like research a Mongolian god and then bring it to life in your own way?
Well, I think that, when we start the project, a lot of folks, and this idea of like this idea that we could go to many mythologies to find people to interact with, the team bubbled forth a lot of like, wouldn't it be cool if we met this person and like look at like what their story is? And then when we find somebody that we kind of latch onto, we go talk to people who know more about those stories than us. Like, we do a lot of like foundational research, but we've if we want to have somebody who speaks Mongolian, we want to find somebody who can do that. And so having those conversations about, we've got to meet a lot of different people about who was this person? Would it make sense for them to do something like this? Is that in their personality? And so how do we build on what is understood for the myth and then go forward, right, with that, and kind of push and pull little things, but still feel like that person's recognizable for the mythology that they come from.
Yeah, fascinating. Really interested in sort of evolutions of combat, because that was one of the biggest things that stood out in the trailer. Like Kratos is very feet on the ground.
Well, he is now.
You're right. Back in the day, you're right. Absolutely. So in this modern iteration, though, he's sort of more of a tank, and Faye seems much more agile. So what have they done with that challenge?
Well, I think that, we start with the character, right? So like the physicality of Kratos and the physicality of Faye are pretty different. Like they're differently sized, but we know them both to be warriors. So it's kind of like, if this is true, right? Like how does she approach combat differently than Kratos might? And so that kind of more agile, flexible, acrobatic feel to it felt right when we were kind of experimenting. A lot of times what we do is we get the rig of the character and we let the animators just go wild for a little bit and just say like, show us what you got, right? Like, what could this person do with this physique? What kind of weapons feel good in their hands? And that becomes a conversation with animation and combat. Like, it's a very kind of everybody talking and bringing ideas to the table. And then there starts to feel something that's right? Like for us, the sword felt like it represented Faye's speed and agility. And then the ribbon started to evolve as like, well, what if we kind of use this to bring people in closer or to keep them at a distance, and just things that emphasize the fluidity of her movements. And then, for us, it didn't make sense for somebody who was so agile to not jump. So why not, right? Why not bring jump back? And that challenge that leads to so many other places, right? When you have jump, what does it mean for level design?
Sure.
All those questions come back.
Yeah.
Can you share if there's almost kind of like the WoW mechanic, the hook, in terms of like how the Leviathan axe was like, this is amazing, and it clearly took so much work. What is that for Faye?
I think for us, realizing all of Faye, I think is, been a big challenge of just something new. But I think the thing that everybody's been so excited to play with has been her Jotnar soul ability. So, we knew the giants had were wrapped up in kind of soul magic to a certain extent. And if that was really part of Faye's arsenal, what does that mean? And so when the first time we punched the soul out of somebody, we're like, that feels great.
That was a holy shit moment. That was cool, yeah.
So cool. I think building that system and just seeing where it could go, so people could kind of experiment with it and show off a little bit with it. So the depth in that system, I think, is really been really exciting. But just bringing kind of air combat back context moves like in the air. That's exciting.
Was it inspired by any specific games you might be willing to list, or was it just like any game with air juggles?
I mean, I think we went to our roots a lot for that one of just like, if Kratos does it this way, how would Faye do it differently? Nice. But I do kind of take it all in and kind of synthesize it out. But
for sure.
You had mentioned you did an interview with GameSpot with Timur, friend of the show, a couple days ago.
Yesterday.
And you did mention that you pull from Norse and Greek, but you said that you guys did do some stuff from the Greek saga here. You pulled from that. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I mean, I think the air combat, the agility part of that.
Perfect.
Definitely. But I think just even like size of creatures and monsters and combat and things, like we looked at all the things that we've made and said, is this something that like would be fun to do with Faye, or would challenge Faye's story, or would push her as a character? And if the answer was yes, we're like, okay, let's figure out how to get it in the game.
Really curious about, so this is not a prequel.
Correct.
This is this story happening in parallel to Kratos and Atreus' journey?
So the every when is kind of an all time, no time, every time kind of thing. But we want to make sure that it starts with this moment. So I won't spoil all the surprises that are.
But there will probably be some surprises around. Okay, right. Okay, cool. I guess I think that would just be such an awesome idea.
One thing I want to know is just like approaching a new character in God of War. That's crazy. That's crazy ambitious. So how do you carry the feel? Because God of War is so distinct down to like how Kratos opens a box. Like there's so many little subtle things. So how do you work in applying that God of War feel to a new character?
Well, I think,
is there a Bible or like, is there anything?
So we actually, for, Kratos, it took 20 years to kind of develop the rule set of like, what would Kratos do in this situation? I mean, in terms of like actually writing it down and doing all those things, it evolved over time. And so I think that we started with this idea of Faye is every bit as much of a warrior as Kratos is. So how would she do that, right? Like how would she open a box or a door or any of these things? And how does it make sense for her as a warrior, right? Her strength, her, just, and we start there. We kind of go forward from that. But I think in terms of, we have a lot of folks who've been on the franchise for a long time and have played different games. And, we have this conversation with each other. Does that feel like God of War? Is it responsive enough? Is it brutal enough? Is it like, does it make sense for our universe? Like we ask these like questions we ask every day, all the time with each other. So I'm hopeful that we're all getting to the same answer. So that's
good to know. It helps that you all have been working on them for so long. So
we've definitely, the team's gotten bigger, so we've welcomed more folks into that. But I think that's, we make this game because we love this game. So I think that's for us. We want to stay true to what it feels like to have a God of War game.
Yeah. Is Laufey part of what you might consider a trilogy? or is this a separate story from those other two games?
It's hard to answer that question because for me, Kratos' story isn't set into like this is the end of his story, and for Faye, this isn't the end of her story either. So for me, in my head, they both go on. So we might have had the Greek saga and the Norse saga and whatever the next thing is for Kratos. For Faye, her journeys in the Everywen, I hope will continue on. So this we'll see how that goes. Where the universe goes.
When do you think we'll start being able to learn more? When are you guys going to start talking more about the game?
I hope relatively soon. So this is for us. This was kind of the first big reveal, but we've got some more stuff coming.
Cool. Sure. Excellent. Well, we love what we saw. It looked amazing. We're easy marks though, because we love the other games. So yeah, thank you for all your work to date. It's looking fantastic, and really looking forward to playing it whenever that happens to be.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Hopefully not too long.
Hopefully not too long.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you again.
Oh, thank you.
And we're back. Mid yawn for Lucy. We caught that one.
You do
that's
that.
right. Make sure, Stu, when you do the edit, buddy, just make sure you get the whole yawn, and that's when we come back in, right? That's just get the whole one. All right. So next up was the big day for Lucy.
Yes.
It was the Summer Games Fest showcase, and excuse me, I'm going to do a big cough. I'm sorry. I've actually had every time I come to Summer Games. By the way,
sim cough.
every time I come to Summer Games, I get sick.
Damn.
Every single time.
Oh, stay away from
The show, of course, opened with something that Jake actually clocked right away, and I hats off to that, man.
Yeah,
It took me a little bit. It's
It's
For
great.
me, it was the tiles. I
The
clocked
tiles,
those tiles.
The tiles, the old. So we're talking about Resident Evil Veronica, the Code Veronica remake.
Sure.
The tiles, the old lady's face. I was just like, that's Ari Engine face.
I know
definitely.
that. I know that Ari Engine had.
And it was in Europe, and she was like, "Oh, your brother." I was like, "Resident Evil." Fuck yeah! And then they went into the room, and in the room there were cigarettes everywhere, and
dumbbells,
and a green shirt on the couch. And she was like, "Oh, a boulder ran through here," and I was like, "This is insane." I'm very happy about it. I think it's really cool. Code Veronica is great.
Yeah,
it just it's a game that definitely could use a remake.
For sure,
because it's got a lot of gameplay stuff, systems wise, you can soft lock yourself. Some stuff has aged poorly, but it's also really atmospheric. It's got some of the coolest monsters and bosses, and I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, it was a really great open. I mean, Capcom, of course, we say it every time, but they've been on such a massive tear. And this is just the next good thing that they're making that's almost certainly going to be excellent, and that we'll all love it.
Unless it's bad.
I mean, but all of them have been good. Even 3, which
3
we were
just a
3 was just like a dip. It wasn't even bad. It just wasn't great like the others were, you know?
Yeah.
So, and given the nature, because also 3 as a product is kind of not as.
If you were around for 3 when it came out, 3 is a little 3 felt kind of after 2, 3 was oh, this is a little weird. It was awesome, but it was a little.
I agree
weird.
with that completely, and I love 3 actually.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. But even then, so the source material is hard to work with. Source material for Veronica is so much richer. There's just so much there. So
drop the code.
It's cleaner. That's right. Nice. So that was a great open for the show. Crowd went absolutely wild for that as well. People were losing their minds around in my part of the audience at least.
I was backstage obviously, and I was like, it's taking them a while to get
to settle down.
No, to get what it is.
Oh right, no, yeah,
I was surprised.
Yeah. And then you saw it was great. Then after that we had an unannounced Cuphead game.
Yeah.
In addition to something else, they're
a retro style 2D.
They're working on that. That's
Cuphead.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's nice to see.
I really loved with the little box art Cuphead that kind of looked like cute little Sonic from the thing. And he also had that 80s 90s character cartoon voice where he's coming soon. I was like, that's awesome. That's so perfect. For the time period.
Yeah. After that was I feel like Alien Isolation 2 was already announced or something.
They revealed that they were working on it.
They did. It was it was in a press release.
It was
or
a
something.
shareholder.
Yeah, it was one of those kind of
Yes.
things. So this was the first time we actually saw a proper trailer for it, and really nice trailer. Just sort of sold it well.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Good vibes,
And
space trailer. Well, bad
environments.
vibes,
Bad
space.
vibes, but that is. at this showcase. We can't talk about it yet. Again, we'll talk about it next episode.
You can
Please be
see, you
excited.
can see why we're sort of doing Summer Game Fest in 2 episodes.
Exactly,
definitely.
exactly.
A lot of stuff to talk about.
So that was that, but it is looking very promising. Now, next, my game of show, and it has been my game of show ever since Gen Atlas.
Gen Atlas.
Gen Atlas was called Project Robot. It's the next game from Ueda-san of Shadow of Colossus and Eco fame. And man, I absolutely love this. I have heard some people not really gelling with it as much, a little
That's
bit
surprising.
disappointed by kind of its direction because it's like technology as opposed to like nature, and it's got some shooting in it where they're like, whoa, why is there shooting in this game? How are you guys feeling about that?
It didn't really. No, it didn't really.
Didn't do it for
didn't
you?
really- No, I'm saying it didn't really bother me.
Oh,
at
okay,
all.
right,
And
yeah.
There's. Yeah, no, I actually didn't even think about that until you mentioned it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it literally the first gameplay shot
Yes.
is him in the back of a truck shooting things.
Yes, that's right.
Which is very different.
unexpected.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is so like in line with like what
Totally
they
agree.
create.
Yeah.
So
Totally agree.
Atmospheric, sad, lonely,
Yeah, beautiful, majestic, like this
melancholic.
yeah, like the idea of like, because obviously we think of Shadow of Colossus
Mhm.
and the size of these behemoths and whatever,
Mm.
colossi, and like, I mean, yeah, just the idea of mechs fighting really slowly.
I love that.
I'm sure there's lots of things that already exist like that in anime because I don't watch much anime, but like, I can't think of anything where giant mechs fight really slowly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Slowly. You know, and I just think that the way that he's
I was
framing
like, because
it.
there's a lot of anime about giant mechs.
Of course,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, but the way
sense
he's
of scale too is like he's like it seems like
Yeah.
he's taking that further as
totally,
well.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And the cheeky wonder print on the tunic. Did you notice that?
no,
So the character in Gen Atlas, he's got like a little flap of fabric on him.
You
And
only
it's-
really see it in like a couple of. You can only
Yeah.
really notice it in a couple of
Okay.
shots.
Yeah,
in the
but it's
trailer.
the pattern that's on Wanda in Shadow of the Colossus.
oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's just
Okay,
a
yeah,
nice
cool.
little.
Yeah, so yeah, and we also had a chance to interview him,
We did.
which we'll probably talk about a bit more later. But yeah, really
That was very
fascinating.
special.
It was a
chat.
this is a fascinating interview with this guy because yeah, he just has a very unique way of making games and thinking about them and his sort of source of inspiration and yeah, really cool. But like I said, we will talk about that later. But I think a beautiful trailer. It is
The
maybe my most
music.
anticipated game full stop at this point.
Nice.
I think. You know
Love
what I
that.
mean? Like
Cool.
it's that. I just really loved it a lot. Blood Message, a very long trailer from NetEase for that sort of Chinese,
yeah.
like cinematic Sony game, but from NetEase.
Yeah.
Looked kind of cool. I don't know.
It looks like they're going for like a generational thing
In what way?
because
Oh,
it
I
was
see what
like,
you mean. Yeah.
it was a whole battle with this badass character, and then it ended with the character's child being a little grown up.
Yeah.
And then it looked like that character was setting out.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
interesting way to market the game.
Yep.
If that is the case.
Yep. Next up, Stranger Than Heaven. Now this one.
Been one of my most anticipated.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
So-
hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But it got a lot more complicated
yeah.
with the reveal that Snoop Dogg is in the game. Okay.
Fine.
But also Tupac is in the
Tupac
game.
is in the
the
game.
ghost of
The
Tupac.
ghost of Tupac, or I don't know. Look,
Yeah.
who knows? And the thing is, people are either totally fine with this, or they're really not fine with this.
Yeah.
Like they're pissed off,
Yeah.
and they feel like he shouldn't be in this game because obviously he's
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 not.
dead, and
Mhm.
his estate is also not really held by his family anymore. Apparently, it's held by like some investment dude.
Oh.
And like, yeah, that's what I've heard, that his
Yeah.
family are trying to fight like to get control of his estate again. So then when like if Snoop says, "Oh, we worked with his estate to make sure it's okay,"
That's not the same.
they're
as
probably
working
just
with the
talking to some like
family.
business dude
Yeah, like
who
we
owns
talked
the
to the
rights or
corporation
whatever.
that
Do you know what I
owns
mean?
it.
And I don't know if
Yeah.
all that's true, by the way, but that's just what I've seen on Twitter like multiple times. It's
Mhm.
possible it's just misinformation. Either way, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about this personally.
Yeah.
I don't really have strong thoughts either way personally,
Yeah.
but it's definitely been a thing that other people have very strong thoughts about.
I am a big Tupac fan.
You are okay.
Machiavelli, like, come
Okay.
on. But nah, I'm not into this.
No.
Not at all. No, Snoop Dogg, awesome. Like, why not?
Mhm.
Why not,
And
man?
it's nice to see him in like a good game, like not some
Sure.
like mobile game thing. And
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
ever since
Remember that?
was it Fear and Respect?
Remember that like AI game that he did with Amazon or whatever? Where he's like a judge.
Oh,
Remember this one?
It was like you would turn on the TV to go Amazon Prime. It'd be like the big banner ad for Sony.
Yeah, remember this? I have never
Was it
even
last
played that. I
year?
just saw an image of that. I'm like, that looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
Like he lends his likeness to a lot of things, but
Hey.
this is like a genuine. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like he hasn't been. I don't know what like he hasn't been in any like substantial video games like this in a while.
I don't know, man.
Like
No.
Def Jam. I don't know. So
I mean, the
GTA.
was he in GTA?
It was in the soundtrack at least.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I think that counts. No, I mean, with the Tupac stuff, I'm also. It's not a thing that I love. Like, it's not a trend that I love.
Sure.
Are they going to try and do the voice?
I don't know. I
Because
have no idea.
that's the like I hated Ian Holm in
Oh, an
Oh,
Alien.
Yeah,
hated,
yeah,
hated that.
because they
Yeah.
used like an AI model to replicate his voice,
Dreadful.
and that really left a bad taste in my mouth.
Totally.
You
Yeah.
didn't like CGI Christopher Reeve in the Flash movie?
I didn't
terrible.
see that.
Yeah, they resurrected.
Yeah, I saw
Christopher
that. I
Reeve
saw that
digitally.
too.
Yeah,
So no, I don't know, man. Yeah, but look, the game looks interesting.
I'm so excited for the game. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
concepts behind the game, like the
Yeah, I
ambition
agree with
behind the
that.
combat and the setting. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really stylish trailers too. They
yeah,
are
their trailers are
really.
Yep.
So stylish they put Tupac in it.
The next one that actually has drawn a lot of attention is Hex
Hex.
or Hex, as we depending on how.
H-A-E?
It's Hex.
No, this one it is Hex.
According
This one.
to my subtitle.
It is.
on the
This
thing.
one actually comes from developers who worked on The Division and Little Nightmares, which means it's a Swedish-based studio, and it just looks pretty cool.
It does
It's
look cool.
Bad
Really-
Astronauts, I think is the name of the studio.
What are they called? There's actually,
It is Bad Astronaut.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something
Cool.
like that, yeah.
But yeah, it looks very promising. Looks interesting.
Looks cool.
In a world. Sorry.
Okay. Welcomed.
in a world where we do watch a lot of these cool like live stream game reveal announcements, there's always like it feels like there's always like 3-4 player co-op survival run and gun shooters. A lot of them are starting to look the same. This looks different.
Yep.
Like really different.
Agreed. Looks very promising. Mortal Shell 2 was doing a thing where now you have like a guitar and you're rocking out to kill people.
I'm so happy this got a sequel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
this
it's
is
nice. Good on them, man. Assassin's Creed Black Flag recently got a trailer. We already know about that one.
Good trailer.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin
Mm.
from Platinum.
Platinum
Mhm.
Games.
Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this one.
The buzz on the streets. The
Yeah.
streets are saying that like this is the one to really like prove the Platinum still has it. Like this is
Okay.
the one that they're really gonna
Haven't
take
they
and
been
run.
saying that for a while now?
Yeah.
You know, they've been saying that
Yeah.
every single
Yeah.
time. And, you
And
know,
they've done it. You know, people will remember they did a Ninja Turtles game already.
Did they?
where was that?
In that period where they also did the Transformers game, where they were like doing kind of like
What was the Ninja Turtles
yeah.
game? What was it called? Or something.
Ninja Turtles something.
Something, all right,
Shredder
cool.
does a
Shredder's-
thing.
Okay.
Shredder's back.
Splinter does a flip.
Anyway, I will say it was a sick as hell trailer. When
Yeah.
that side went through the water, the crowd went completely nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it was a nice trailer.
There's a lot of potential for that in terms of like world building and like building out a
Absolutely.
universe and then also like combat, obviously, because of like all the different Ninja Turtle weapons in one character. Like
God,
really cool.
God, pizza. I meant to say turtles are just such a blind spot for me. I don't
Yeah.
even know about
Oh,
it.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
like
Pizza. There's a rat, I think.
I just wanna
It's
be
in New York, right?
involved.
It's got to be pizza and rats. That's in New York, right?
The Last Ronin's kind of like weird. It's almost like a little cyberpunky. I don't know if you read it.
I did. I have read it. Yeah, it is.
It's interesting. It's more different than people realize.
No, it's really very
Like,
different. It's incredibly
it's bleak.
cool, though.
It's
Yeah.
sci-fi-ish.
It's literally
Okay.
like
It's very
I don't-
comic booky.
I just can't get over the way they look.
Or like the feet, the way the
The
feet
little-
are their
yeah, I
hands.
agree. They're really
Yeah.
messed
feet
up.
on the hand.
So yes. So then, Fortnite Chapter 7, Ben Starr on stage, friend of the pod, Ben
He said
Starr.
I could have one of those shirts.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
apparently has got a few
He's
of them.
got a bunch
great.
of them.
Him just being like, Ben Starr will do anything for money. So he was up there for that. Gundam Rogue Orbit was just a cinematic trailer, but it looks.
they showed some
there
gameplay.
was
Was that gameplay, was
There
it?
was
Yeah,
gameplay in it. Yeah.
Oh right, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were very excited about that one too.
Were Gundam people into that? Because it felt very like different. I don't know. It felt very like
Well, I can only go by the crowd around me,
Yeah.
and there were definitely some Gundam people in the
And
crowd
they were
who
into
knew
it?
exactly what that is, and they were all like, "Oh, Rogue Orbit." They were like saying that, so I think they kind
Okay.
of knew what that thing is, and I
Right.
guess
Cool.
it's a thing. I don't know. there's one here that I'm going to come back to at the very end. We'll skip this one for now. Guild Wars 3.
Wild.
This is so funny because like Austin is part of the crew and like I'm going to tell this story. I don't fucking care. I'm going to tell it. Austin, like when Guild Wars 3 was announced, Austin called me at like 11 o'clock at night to tell me he had like some flimsy excuse about like, oh, I uploaded this thing. I'm like, all right, man, thanks for telling me. He just wanted to fucking geek out about Guild Wars 3, man. He was so excited about Guild Wars 3. When it happened, he was just losing his shit. He's like literally the biggest Guild Wars like fan on the planet.
He was the first person I thought of when I saw it.
Yeah. So he was very pumped. And I think a lot of people are very pumped because look, MMO scene right now, you know, it's pretty dire in many ways.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 was what, 2012?
I'm not sure how long, but like it still has a very rusted on fan base. People really respect it. They love it. And the fact that they're doing a new one,
and coming to PlayStation.
And yeah, you're right. Just PlayStation. Yeah, rip Xbox.
Would you believe I played Guild Wars 2 when it came out?
No, I wouldn't believe that.
Didn't we both do this? Didn't we both?
That and the Secret World.
Dual boot our MacBooks so we could play.
Yeah,
I did
my MacBook with
Oh, you did that?
Wars,
No way.
It was only on Windows.
Yeah, right.
It's cool.
But yeah, look, obviously they didn't show off too much except like new visual style, which
Very
is
different.
very different.
I
from the last one.
thought for a second I thought it was Horizon.
Yeah, I mean, because it looked that different. So
the logo that looks like it says Chud Wars.
That's a different game. We'll come to that one later. Now, skipping over a few because they've just got some update trailers, but we did get a reveal for Virtual Fighter Crossroads.
Oh, I am so into this idea. Really into this idea.
So just for anyone who doesn't know,
it's a Virtual Fighter game, but it's not a fighting game. It looks like it's more of like this story, linear fighting game element style thing. I think this is a cool idea just because it's like zig when everyone else is zagging.
Yes.
Like it's like you're not going to beat Street Fighter, you're not going to beat Tekken, you're not going to beat all these other things. Like the fighting game market right now is stacked from like all these players. Sure. So do something different because like Virtual Fighter never really attached as hard as any of those. So do this. Why not?
They're great. Cool. They're great. It looks really interesting.
I want to see if they're going to bring back the guy that is like legally distinct Ryu. It's like headband guy.
Headband guy. I know in the white gear, or whatever. Yeah, sure. After that, they announced Mafia Old Country is getting some DLC. Yeah, which to me is really funny because that game was like 7 hours long and it was just there was no gameplay. It was just a story game. Like people dunked on mixtape. Go and play Mafia, bro. Like please.
Also, the fact that Jeff,
I loved it by the way. It was great.
Jeff had to say like, oh, and this is a young that guy.
That's right. That's right.
I played all of them. I needed that. I was like, that's someone.
Yeah.
And then he said Don Salieri. I was like, oh, yeah.
Hey. I think one of the most interesting reveals of this whole showcase was actually 1666 Amsterdam.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. Anyone?
Congrats to Patrice because that's 16 years.
What's the TLDR on that, Lucy?
So 1666 is a game that Patrice Désilets, who's one of the original creators, he's the original creator of Assassin's Creed, has kind of been percolating on, working on for a very long time. It was when there was like THQ, there was this sort of ownership battle over it for a bit. And then he left and formed Panache, released Mankind, Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey.
The monkey game I played for like 50 hours because I thought I was supposed to evolve. I thought I was eventually going to become a man. Yeah. I was completely misinformed on that game.
But now he has this new game, 1666. Well, a game that he's been on for a long time, 16 years, he was telling us. And it's witchy. It is
awesome.
It looks awesome.
It looks
so
real dark. And I really just hope it gets as weird with it as I hope it does.
That's different.
It looks different. I think it's quite funny that he also sort of dropped a free prologue at the show.
Yes, right.
And at this rate, he's going to have the Witch game out before Assassin's Creed has that Witch game out.
That's true.
So, yeah, because Hex, I don't think is for a couple of years.
I think this was my game.
Yeah, cool.
Other than Resident Evil, it was my game of the show.
Sure.
So the thing, I saw it. He came in rehearsal the day before, and I didn't know the reveal was then. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, that's exciting.
Wow.
Saw Genesis. So Bloober Team is making one of those asymmetrical horror games.
Yeah.
Not my jam,
so
those
it's them
games.
and
It's
someone
them, it's
else.
Anchar Studios.
Yes.
Yep.
And I will say that little fucker was backstage the whole
Billy.
time.
Jigsaw.
Billy. No, his name is Billy.
Is it Billy?
Jigsaw is the guy, the man. Yeah.
Okay,
The
right,
thing
right.
is that when we were doing rehearsal and doing the show and stuff, people just kept putting him in different places to get him out of the way.
Excellent.
And so there was one point where I turned around and I basically screamed because the fucking
Right.
Billy the
He was
puppet.
also doing the rounds at Summergate
Yes.
at Playdays, by
Yeah,
the
I
way.
took a selfie with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
I
I was like, come here, little fucker.
So that's cool. We got a proper look at Star Wars Zero Company here.
Yeah.
Which is actually from former Firaxis developers, and it's
Bit
their studio
Reactor.
Bit Reactor.
Mhm.
And it's basically like XCOM with Star Wars.
Well,
and
you know the name?
of what?
Well, Zero Company, which is not XCOM, but ZCOM.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, that makes
Right?
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
never
Yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah.
But it looks nice. I mean, it looks just like XCOM,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But I think those games, like that format, just really has a timeless quality.
Were you an XCOM guy?
I was an
Yeah, me
XCOM guy,
too.
big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I even enjoyed like Marvel's Midnight Suns,
Oh,
which obviously
Midnight Suns
very
is
different.
great.
It was fantastic. The gameplay, I didn't like the story stuff, but the gameplay was
Gameplay
top
was really
tier.
good.
And even like the Mario Rabbids stuff. Like
Oh,
if you
yeah.
can really nail
Yeah.
that formula, you can make a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is great source material for them to work with. They obviously know what they're doing because they've built this kind of game in the past.
They're pros, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
so I
Like,
think
the right
there's a-
people are on it.
There's a good chance this is going to be excellent. The Among Us story on guard.
We can skip this.
Yeah, agreed. There's a TV show for Among Us.
Yep.
Out
Apparently.
now?
Oh,
I don't know, man. I wasn't really paying that much attention to that one. 007 First Light is getting a new story mission, and luckily, Bavmar is coming back.
Featuring the worst guy in the game.
Featuring the worst Bond villain of all
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Love the game,
We-
but
yeah,
love the game.
thing
Yeah.
is, like, I know you guys have done your videos on it, but we haven't talked about 007 First Light.
True,
as a group,
true,
and so
true.
none of us have really. I don't know if we haven't had the therapy session about Bavma.
I really hated the opening act of that of Bond for a couple of reasons. Number one, I hated how, and this is just the open, by the way, so it's not spoilers, right? I hated how in the camp where they were doing the boot camp thing, the agents, whatever, were just dicks, and they were like beating up the SAS people when they wanted to steal that flag, and I was like, that's awful, don't do that. And then there was the other thing where Bond and Monroe had that fight, and it was such a violent fight, it
ruined
trashed
everyone's
half
day.
the base,
Yeah.
and I was like, these people are fucking assholes.
It's like
I
you're in
hate
your late
them.
20s. What's
Yeah,
wrong
exactly.
with you?
You should know better than this.
But then Monroe's like, "I'll clean it up," and I was like, "What do you mean?"
Clean it up. What are you, a carpenter and a painter and a like electrician? You ruined everything,
You
right?
threw each other through a ceiling.
Yeah, and then after that, there was the mission with Bavmar or whatever, and I'm like, oh no, is this the villain for this game? This is
No.
gonna be terrible. So that was why, because a lot of people were like, bro, I played that first act, it was awesome. What are you talking about? I'm like, okay, look, if you loved it, great. That's why I hated that act.
That's
It was
funny.
dreadful.
That's
After
funny.
that, the game just like completely pivots, by the way, and
Great
doesn't refer to almost all of those characters that you meet
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
for different reasons, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was
So more Bavma content.
above my
Incoming.
content. That's right.
Yeah.
So other highlights are a Cyberpunk Edge Runners Wuthering Waves crossover. The reveal of Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance expansion, which would be nice.
A massive expansion, they said.
Massive
They did call
Yeah.
it massive, actually.
Massive.
Tell you what, I was actually very excited about Hot Wheels Infinite Rush.
Yes.
Because I'm actually a huge mark for those Hot Wheels
You
games.
are the
I
Hot
love,
Wheels influencer.
I love those games. They're great.
He's got a Hot Wheels car. in his-
I do have Hot Wheels because
Yes.
no. Do you know what they did though? Because I did the hands-on with the Infinite Rush, and then the asset kit is on the back of
Oh,
that
that's
little. Yeah, they
good.
printed the asset kit on the back.
That's
It's so
cool.
cool.
good. Okay.
Anyway, so I did play. I don't even know if it's. I have to go and check the embargo. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about Infinite Rush yet. Spoiler alert: it's another Hot Wheels game, but this time it's like semi-open world, and it's really fun. But again, we'll talk more about it later. Sonic 30th 5th anniversary. We're doing like crossover content with like Godzilla -1 in their kart racing game.
Sorry, the Evangelion stuff.
Oh, the
was
Evangelion as well. It was-
Went wild.
They really
Wow,
did.
went
That was
insane
for sure.
for Evangelion.
We got our first proper look at Clutch, which is another game we can't yet talk about.
Shout out to Jane Perry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like scanned in and everything.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
that's
right.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Clutch is the
Great.
racing game from former Playground game developers.
But then up until quite recently, it was being published by Amazon.
Correct.
And then Amazon
Dropped it.
dropped it.
The reveal was really good. I like
Yes.
car movies.
Yes.
And I was like, "Ooh, this is like a car movie. I like this.
No,
This is cool."
yeah, absolutely. I, again, can't talk about it yet, but all I would say is I'm looking forward to talking about it. And I'll just say that all I will say at this point is that I'm extremely surprised that Amazon dropped this game, right? That's all I will say for now because
Nice. Interesting.
so what else other than that?
Final Fantasy.
Pal World is coming to 1.0 in
Cool.
Next month?
next month, July 10th. After that was Wolf Among Us 2, which we got a little sneak peek at. Nice to know that's back.
And a remaster of the first one.
Good
and
move.
a remaster of the first one.
Good move.
Yeah, I
'Cause
agree with that.
It was literally as they revealed 2, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to replay 1." And then they did that, and I was like, "Thank you."
Sure.
Cool.
Yes. Doesn't need it though. It's like it's
No,
stylized.
no,
like I don't know
yeah,
how you
I
can
don't
really
know.
remaster it.
I just like buying things more than once. Like
nice,
a
man.
schmuck.
Nice. And finally, we got a very, very, very deep dive into Final Fantasy VII Revelation,
Yeah.
the final chapter in the remake trilogy. Matt Mercer was up there as
was cool.
Old Mate Vincent. It was cool. He was nerding out. He was having a good time. A lot of stuff discussed there. A lot of things shown.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't really care if they're like, oh, they've got this new feature or this improvement. I'm just like, I'm just there to finish this story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy with what you've built. I'm happy with more of it. I'm just happy to see this story through to its
Yeah.
conclusion.
Yep.
It's interesting. I don't know how other people are going to feel, but like, I would have been good with just
The
Just
trailer.
a really incredible trailer, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they overcooked this a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a bit too much.
Yeah.
Because it was literally 3 trailers. They just kept going back. We're like,
Yeah.
we got a bit more. And you're like, oh, okay, sure, So, yeah, I agree with you. I think it probably would have been better if we'd seen a little bit less of it.
Mhm.
Just like,
Yeah.
pique our curiosity a little more than.
But it does look great.
It does.
I gotta finish Rebirth.
For sure. But then that means that package that so many people have been waiting on is on the way soon. Because
Yeah.
so many people are like, I'm going to wait until all 3 games are
Really?
out. Yes.
Oh,
There are people doing
a
that.
lot
Yeah.
of people
Cool.
are doing
Okay.
that. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they played it back in the day and they're kind of frustrated to imagine that they wouldn't be able to experience the whole story
Yeah.
in one hit. But then I'm like, damn, man, that's like 150 hours worth of game that you're going to have to
At
play
least.
through, at
Yeah.
least, depending on how big. Because the last one was like 80 hours at least, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember how long my playthrough was. The first one's only about 30-ish.
It's like a normal
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, but then the second one was massive.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if the audience is the type of people who can wait 7 years
True.
because they don't play everything and
Yeah,
they're fine
true,
with
true,
it,
true.
I think.
Final
that's it.
Fantasy 7 years. 6-7 years.
Oh
Shut
my
up,
God.
Jay.
I'm tired.
Shut
alright?
up,
I'm jet lagged.
Jake. Jet lag. He's from New York. Fucking 1 hour, 2 hour time difference.
I
3.
live my life jet lag.
That's right. Anyway, that was Jeff and Lucy's Summer Game Showcase. What
You
do
did
think?
announce something very specific
Yeah.
on stage,
I was
though.
going to say, what about my announcement?
Excuse me, we were just wrapping up, okay?
I was thinking about you.
Give
Come
me
on.
a second. Give me a second. But in addition to all of the game announcements, there was another announcement. It was also very important.
Yeah.
And Lucy, tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so I left GameSpot a couple of weeks ago.
After working there
Crazy.
for 44 years. Can you believe that? 44 years at the one place.
Love her
That's
run.
wild.
They gave her a
They
watch
gave her a
when she
cold
retired.
watch.
Oh my God. No, 12 years. Thank you very much.
Sure.
To launch something new. So I've launched a newsletter, which I was joking that like maybe it is launching a newsletter the new I'm launching a podcast.
Oh no, it
100%
it
is.
actually was, and now it's like not anymore. It's on the other side of it now.
So it's a newsletter focusing on indie game curation and discovery.
Yep.
It's called Looking For Game.
Yep.
Lookingfor.game is the website. You can go sign up. It's basically just because through doing this podcast, really, I've kind of reignited a love of recommending games and talking about and highlighting smaller games. And I know because people comment or email that people do like that. And so that gave me some confidence in saying, hey, there's people who want games that aren't just, your big AAAs that want to find things. And it's so much harder these days to find those games because there are so many games being released like every day. And so, I am working on that.
Mhm.
And it comes with, so you're going to be working with developers, right? And
Mhm.
essentially
So-
providing some access to like game codes, demos.
Yes. So that's it's gonna be like weekly gaming recommendations for free. The paid tier gets you access to Discord and extra newsletters and stuff. But like the weekly recommendations will be free. And what I'm doing right now is talking to developers and publishers and being like, hey, you have a demo? You know, we can put it out here to this audience who is hungry for it. And the tech partner, the tech platform is First Look, player.gg. So they are a playtesting platform. You can sign up. It just means like for key distribution, we could just send you codes. And yeah, Jeff,
And you have spoken a lot too about how you've chosen this over Substack, Beehive. Like you did the
Yeah.
research. Like
yeah, I mean, I had our newsletter is on Substack, and you know, it's fine. Well, I mean, you know,
our needs are simple, right?
Yeah,
our
totally.
needs are
Friends
very
per second
simple,
one, yeah.
but they don't have a video game category. Like our categories that I put in are culture and technology.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a category. And then I had a meeting with Beehive, and they were it's just one of those things where it's like they're not going to be as interested in this because, hey, anyone can have a newsletter. So why do you need special like technology that we can't make for you and whatever? And so I kind of, you know, we came to that realization quite quickly. And then because I'm working with Jeff Keighley on this, you know, he's supporting me the way he supports the game business. We got in touch with First Look, player.gg, and they just get it.
Yep.
They work with developers and publishers all the time. They understand key mailing. They understand, you know, the importance of how difficult discovery is. And they
sure.
already had a product that was doing a lot to help that. And then we were talking about what my needs would be for this. And so, yeah, now we've got the curator side of player.gg, which is what my newsletter is on.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Very
it makes
cool.
sense. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You have literally honed that craft here. I've told this story to people a million times, but like from Vampire Survivors,
Yeah.
Mm.
you were like the first person to be like, I played this weird game.
played
And
this
we're like,
game.
what the fuck?
You guys are
How
really
did you
fun.
find this? This is crazy.
Yeah. True.
Like you're good at it. It makes sense.
Thank you.
This is cool.
Yeah, and shout out to Jeff for not only just being very supportive in this, because I've been telling you guys that we've been talking about it for a bit, but like letting me do it on stage is wild.
Yeah.
And I think that helped it get in front of even more people.
Definitely.
I mean, it certainly did, but it, like, you know, beyond what the reach of my audience would be. And so I am very grateful, and I hope to share in even more great gaming recommendations, because last week's newsletter was the Day of the Devs edition. If I could tell you all to go play anything right now, it would be Blood Dungeon from Meshoff.
Okay.
Blood
Who are
Dungeon.
the
Cool.
Nidhogg
Who
people.
else? Someone else
Oh,
told me
man.
that actually. Yeah.
Chris Grant.
Chris Grant told me that. Yeah.
Who was my boss at GameSpot for a short time. He
Yeah.
was like, you should write a newsletter and you should talk about Blood Dungeon.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Chris, I already did, and it went up yesterday.
There you go.
So
Nice.
you and I are on the same wavelength.
Excellent.
Because it fucking rules.
The Nidhogg people, you said?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Cool.
It's
I mean-
it's auto shooter like Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
It rules.
Well, there was one other thing in the showcase that we didn't mention, and it was Crossfire, which
Yes.
is the game from That's No Moon.
Mhm.
Bunch of developers from a bunch of, you know, like AAA studios, Naughty
Naughty
Dog,
Dog,
and
yeah.
No Dog, Infinity Wars.
all that sort of stuff. And
Dogs from all over.
yeah, so they came together and they're working on a sort of narrative-led military shooter kind of game.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi military shooter thing. The trailer didn't give away too much. It was pretty sort of like just high level. You're some people, and you know there's stuff going on, and it's
Yeah, you're like two mercs.
Yep.
Something weird is going on.
Correct.
But it's like
Mhm.
it's around like them kind of tweaking and changing the third person shooter and like how cover works,
For sure.
and how aiming works. And
Yep.
they're really trying something cool.
definitely. And we know this because Lucy actually interviewed them while she was at their studio earlier in the week. And so that interview is with, their names again are...
Jacob Minkoff and Taylor Kurosaki.
That's right. And so we're going to cut over to that interview right now.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining me. Thank you for having me at your actual studio. It's rare these days to go to a studio. And Taylor, when you were giving us the tour earlier, you said there's a lot of history with this place, this room in particular. Could
Yeah.
you walk us through it a little bit?
Yeah, so the stage we're in right now, which is within the four walls of That's No Moon, was a mocap facility back in the 2000s and the 2010s. It was called House of Moves. And it's very connected to That's No Moon because back when we were at Naughty Dog, we shot the performance capture for Uncharted Drake's Fortune and Uncharted 2 Among Thieves in this facility. Uncharted Drake's Fortune was in our bullpen where Jake's desk is now. And for Uncharted 2, House of Moves built this soundstage that has since been improved dramatically for that game. And then a lot of other games. But I think we were the big driving reason that they created this because they didn't want to lose us as a client. And so to have That's No Moon have its headquarters in this place that I first stepped foot on like in 2005 is really, really cool. It just feels warm and fuzzy and like you know, a homecoming.
But it's not just you who've been here, like Disney was here too. So this place has seen a lot of projects.
You know, people have asked us about our studio name, That's No Moon. And they say, oh, is that a Star Wars reference? Well, yeah, it is a reference to Star Wars. It doesn't mean that we're making a Star Wars game. It means that for people of a certain age, you've probably heard this with a lot of people, that there was the world before Star Wars and the world after Star Wars. And that sense of wonder and possibility that just blew many a young child's mind when those movies came out. That is the sense of wonder that we want to capture with That's No Moon. And so, again, same place, this same stage was a Disney stage for a while. And both the Lion King reboot was shot here. And then they used this stage in this facility to do a lot of Mandalorian season 1. So I'm a big Star Wars fan. Did some work on a couple little games called Uncharted, and now That's No Moon. So it just again feels perfect.
So I mean, let's get to, you know, Crossfire and the founding of the studio. Obviously, you are very storied developers working across, you know, some games you might have heard of over the years. How did That's No Moon? How did that formation happen? You know, the Smilegate of it all.
Sure.
How did you end up deciding like, oh, Crossfire is the game that we're going to make?
Well, again, I'll tell the story because part of it is, so a lot of the folks at That's No Moon have worked on similar titles across the years. So we have a shared vocabulary of how we make these kind of games. But primarily, it's Jake and I that have probably had the longest history together. We've been working together for 18 years running now. We were at Naughty Dog together. He was crazy enough to follow me or come along with me to Infinity Ward, and then even crazier again to come and work at That's No Moon and start this studio together. And sure, we could have played it safe and stayed, you know, in comfortable places and working within comfortable IP. But for folks like Jake and myself, when you have someone that says the only metric for your success is to make the game of your careers, to innovate, to push the medium forward, to make something that's high quality, it's like catnip, you know, and I couldn't refuse it. And I knew that I was kind of hooked because that's what makes me want to keep making games. But I actually thought that Jake was going to be mad at me when I said, hey, I'm going to go do this crazy thing. You want to do it with me? Please don't yell. And instead he was like, oh yeah, like, let's go do that. So I was a little shocked. You surprise me sometimes. Yeah, still surprising me. But, you know, I shouldn't have been surprised because, again, the thing that keeps me coming back to work every year and every project is pushing the medium forward, innovating, doing stuff we haven't done before. And it's the same thing for him. So here we are.
Yeah, I get really bored. You know, if you look at my work history resume. It's like every 5-ish years, I'm like, okay, so I've made one of those, and then I made the sequel, and now it looks like we're doing the same thing again. I always want to make something that really feels like we're doing something different. We're moving the industry forward. We're pushing the medium forward, and Smilegate basically offered us that opportunity. There's a bunch of stuff in Crossfire where, I'd been pitching people on things for years. The story we wanted to tell, the animation system innovations that we wanted to push forward with adaptive cover and all that. And people had said to me repeatedly, like, well, we have 25 years invested into our tech stack and it works perfectly fine. Why would we take on the risk of doing those things? We have brand equity. This is what we make. Why would we put risk into making a new thing? And then Smilegate said, we want you to make a new project, a new studio, and we want you to stand out and make something that people are going to recognize is special and new and different. And that means taking a risk. So we really built this studio around innovation because of the opportunity that Smilegate gave to us.
Yeah, hearing you say it, I can absolutely understand why you would go for it. Were there never any, given the current landscape, obviously it wasn't the same back in, late 2020, 2021 when you were forming, but, everything, there is so much of a bigger risk these days. We are seeing all these horrible shutdowns. We are seeing lack of investment in space. How does that, do you feel more pressure now as a new studio with your first game as this studio with a name like Crossfire? I didn't realize it was 1 billion players.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think we feel more pressure. We try to keep it really simple. We make the games that we want to play. We make the stories that feel relevant to us. And we hope that there is an audience that agrees. And that's just simpler, and until such day, if there is a day where it's like, what you guys think is cool, no one else thinks is cool, then we're going to just keep making what excites us.
And honestly, even now, the fact that you are making, this character-driven narrative game in a world of live service already makes you stand out because everyone is trying to do live service.
Well, it's funny because we've, again, it's been 5 years since we started the studio, and this is the longest we've ever gone between game releases. And it's not because this game is inherently we're slowing down or it's bigger or whatever. It's because we grew a studio. I mean, again, not us, like the team. We found like-minded folks that were subject matter experts in the kind of games that we like to make. And so building this technology from the ground up, in a lot of cases, building the team from the ground up has taken a bit of time. So we've had to be quiet for a really long time, and we're actually really relieved to be able to talk about the game because we're excited about it. And it was funny because the industry kind of goes in these waves, right? So we had a lot of people saying like, I don't know, you should really have multiplayer component because you got to do that. And then it felt like that was where the whole industry was sort of skating toward. And we've just been here this whole time, and now we get people coming in and going like, well, live service games, like that's a bloodbath there. You should really be in single player. We're like, well, we just never left. It's the part of the industry that we like. We like all these other games, but in terms of making them and in terms of seminal experiences we've had playing games, single player games are, take up a lot of my top 10 for sure.
Yeah. And, just speaking for myself, like I'm just going to myopically keep working on the thing that I like making. And, if somebody comes along like Smilegate and says, we want you to make one of those things, oh my God, I'm going to make it. But there there definitely are fewer opportunities to make these types of games than there used to be. And, I think we feel really lucky that we've gotten this opportunity. And we hope that enough people out there still want to play single-player, narrative-driven, prestige, AAA type games that, people play this game and enjoy it, and we get to make another.
So we're obviously recording this before SGF, where you will have a trailer and a little snippet of gameplay, but behind closed doors here at the studio, I got to see a good, a chunk of it of you playing. What is your beef with how cover shooters handle cover?
Gonna get me off on the tirade. So 20 years ago, the third-person cover-based shooter was created. And, we were there for that, and we've been working on it, on that type of genre, shooters like that since then. And 20 years ago, it was amazing new technology. It was incredible to see somebody slam into cover and aim over the top of it. It felt so high fidelity and so grounded. But it was also built around the limitations of the technology at the time. We couldn't push that many polygons. We didn't have that much in the way of memory and processing power for lots of animations. So the system itself was very limited. The way that basically all of these games work is the metrics are about 0 to 6 inches. That's your step height. You just automatically walk over that. 6 inches to about 24 inches. Do not build anything, designers or artists. You are not allowed to build anything. The systems cannot handle it. 24 to 36, that's your low cover height. And then 36 inches up to about 100. Do not build anything. You're not allowed to build anything. And then 100 and above, that's your high cover height, maybe your high mantle height. And what that does is it makes these very stair-stepped environments. And now as a player, you walk into this space and you say a bunch of crates and fallen over pillars and, Jersey barriers. And you're
crate in a room. I know what's happening.
Exactly. It's cover, right?
Straight to it.
Yeah. So the surprise and delight of what these experiences used to be is kind of gone now, because we as gamers recognize that pattern. We're oh, it'd be so surprising if a bunch of enemies spawned here with this room with all these crates. And, fundamentally, that's not how cover works in real life. In real life, it's not a sticky state. It's not I stick into cover and my state goes my stance goes down and I detach from cover and I stand up. In real life, there's what's called defilade. That's the military term for it. You look at the line of sight of enemies, and anything that blocks their line of sight, no matter how far it is from you, that provides you cover. It provides you defilade. And what our system does, adaptive cover, is you enter cover mode, you deflect the stick, and given the line of sight of enemies and the defilade between you and the enemies, your character will take the appropriate stance given that context. So you'll move from all the way from a low crouch up into a high stance automatically based on our motion matching database, determining what the right pose is given the context of the environment and enemy's line of sight. And what really excites me about that is it creates an analog play space where you as the player need to be much more immersed in the space, because you're not just in cover and you're okay, I don't need to worry about where bullets are coming from because I'm in this sticky state. Instead, you are looking at enemy elevations and saying okay, I think given that elevation of that enemy, this shape of object over here is such that from the biomechanics of my character, I will be able to get down and take cover behind that and then move along here and find a good route to flank an enemy or take cover. And it's a much more cerebral experience. And I find it very refreshing compared to the types of third-person cover-based shooters experiences we've been having for the past 20 years or so. And, you know, I feel like there was a point where everything was a third-person cover-based shooter. Like the whole industry was just doing that. And there's been a real fall off in that genre. And I believe that it's because of the stagnation. It's because of how these mechanics are very limiting and they telegraph the gameplay to the player. They also really tie the hands of the artists and designers. Artists can't do their best work and make the most beautiful environments when you're telling them all that they're allowed to make are rectilinear stair-stepped spaces.
Yeah, there's only so many ways you can make crate in a street interesting. Why do you think no one has tried to do anything like this before?
Because it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of incentives.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, if you're a long-running studio, you have an investment in a certain technology stack, and you've got to keep leveraging that. You've got IP, you've got people have certain expectations. You've got a team that's used to working a certain way. But this is, again, part of why That's No Moon exists is we didn't have a technology stack when we started. We didn't have, and we got to kind of organically grow this team to make this game. So I just don't think, I think this would have been too much innovation for an existing team with an existing IP.
Yeah, it's risk. You know, like Taylor's saying, people have their existing tech. They have, you know, their brand equity. They have what players are expecting from this studio, and they're saying, like, why would we take on that risk of doing these really, really difficult things that nobody's ever done when it might not pan out? For us, we have no choice but to take a risk, because if we make something just like everybody's made before, then nobody's going to hear about us. Nobody's going to hear about our game. Nobody's going to, like, That's No Moon won't make a splash. You know, it'll just be like, oh, they made another one of those. But if we do something genuinely risky and different and innovative, then we have a chance of standing out and at the same time pushing the medium forward and giving gamers an experience that they've never had before. So yeah, people don't do it because it's risky and hard. We have to do it because it's risky and hard.
And how are you feeling about, you know, game comes out, like the cover system, you know, people really just think, oh my God, this is it. This is the next thing. Is this like, you want to have That's No Moon attached to it? You know, like Arkham Combat? What would you call it? Balloon cover?
Well, we call it adaptive cover, but
you got the branding in there.
Sure. You know,
but no, we don't really need to, because if we created a new paradigm and other studios made games similar to it, we'd be fine with that. Because now, again, there's probably a lot more to explore in this paradigm. So we're cool with, you know, with sharing, honestly, not sharing like we're like, here's our code. But, you know, again, that's how this industry works, is you build on those that come before you. We're certainly building on those that have come before us and building on our own work. And we would love it if now this was, you know, the new thing. And then, you know, maybe 20 years from now, someone else will make a brand new one that's even, you know, more immersive than this.
Unless you're the Nemesis system and Warner Brothers stops it.
I know, right?
So,
I mean, you never know how it's going to work out, but we hope that other people feel that this is as refreshing an experience as we think it is. And, you know, I'd love to inspire other teams to innovate and do more.
Let's move to, I know we're not talking too much about story and narrative today, but in the presentation you were talking about how, you know, how you want to make these characters and like you want to have a narrative that serves gameplay. Obviously from, you know, days on Uncharted, I'm sure you've heard of the term ludonarrative dissonance.
Oh, yes.
How are you approaching that?
When it comes to Crossfire.
approaching ludonarrative dissonance specifically?
In like, making gameplay a narrative,
Yeah.
more like a marriage rather than, one as a means to it.
Well, one thing we're doing is our characters are not sort of gleefully murdering waves and waves of enemies. Circumstances in our story are such that Cross, his name's Delroy, and Layla are compelled to work together or they're both gonna die. They don't like each other very much. They would probably prefer that they could go their separate ways, but today they don't have that luxury. And the enemies that they are fighting, there is something that is, they are humans, and there is something that is sort of wrong with them that, and in any other circumstance, like I mentioned, maybe they would try to, maybe these people just need a hug. But unfortunately, they also don't have that luxury. So in terms of ludonarrative dissonance, we are okay, and this is something else that we're doing that's kind of maybe risky, is that we are okay with because our characters, they talk about not wanting to kill unnecessarily, but they're in a kill or be killed situation. So there is, if they want to survive, which they do, there is a certain amount of damage they're going to have to deal out. And we also give the player enough agency that if they want to sneak past an encounter, they can do that too. That's probably going to be pretty difficult. But again, we really want our players to feel like that they're immersed in this world. And if it seems like this is a situation where they could avoid confrontation, that we give them that option.
And, we talk a lot about putting the player in emotional parity with the protagonist. So these two soldiers, right? These two operators, they are saying, hey, we are diametrically opposed. We are dogmatically opposed. And we don't want to work together, but because of the pressure being placed on us by this existential threat, we have to work together. And that's the only way we're going to survive. So, there could be ludonarrative dissonance there if the player is now playing the game and the game is like really easy and they're like, running around like Rambo shooting everybody. They have regen health. They're, taking 1 million bullets. If the game were to be tuned that way, the player might say, well, these characters are saying to me that they are only willing to work together because, oh my God, I have to in order to survive. There's so much pressure on us. But we are tuning the game such that there's a similar amount of pressure on the player. We're creating lethal, grounded, to some degree, realistic combat where the player really has to rely on Delroy to draw enemy fire while the player goes and reacquires stealth and flanks around and attacks the enemy from stealth. And that puts the same pressure on the player. This high lethality puts the same pressure on the player as the protagonists are experiencing. So that makes the player buy into the story because these characters are saying, oh, we're only willing to work together because of this pressure placed on us. And the player's like, yes, I get it. There is a ton of pressure being placed on me. I do have to work together with my ally to overcome this. Therefore, they don't feel ludonarrative dissonance.
And I mean, when it comes to, I'd love to talk a little bit about the casting process because you were talking about, Ricky and Claudia, and like hearing them both in their natural accents is kind of wild because we heard them, Claudia with an American accent in The Boys, Ricky with an American accent in American Gods, but they're Australian and British. And so does that bring a kind of authenticity to their performance? Or like you said, there's a layer of them having to think about what they are.
Yeah. Any actor that's putting on an accent that is not their natural accent it really has to devote quite a bit of their mental capacity to keeping that accent on point. I prefer to have the actors put all that mental acumen into the nuance of their role, number one. Number two, we're creating these roles together. It's a collaborative process. We have our ideas of who Layla is, and we have our ideas of who Delroy is, but if I just dictate to them, it's like this and it's like that, and like, then I'm preventing them from making these characters better than what we envisioned. And so I've worked with Claudia for a long time now. I've actually now worked with Ricky for a long time. And being able to have them be equal partners in this. And we see the benefits of this. So again, you'll know, clearly I'm American. So writing humor that a British person would say or an Australian person would say, sometimes we miss the mark. And sometimes Claudia will say, I would never say that. Because you said you want me to be like full on Aussie. And I'm like, just your version of Aussie, whatever that is, Claudia. But she'll say, well, then I would never say this. And so then I'll say, well, then what would you say?
Yeah, we all speak the same language, but actually we don't.
Exactly. And so she'll say, well, I would say this. And we look around and go, can we say that in a game? And
the C word. It's Australian. They say it a lot.
So I've heard. But again, now we are a team, right? Like Delroy and Layla are a team. Ricky and Claudia are a team working with our team, right? Again, there's all these metaphors of we are better together than we are apart, right? So Jake and I don't ascribe to this like, it's my vision and, everything's got to be just so. I mean, we have very strongly held ideas, controlling ideas, gameplay and narrative, like being inextricably linked. Those are sacrosanct for us. But in terms of really fleshing out these characters and bringing them to life, why would I think that I can just do everything by myself when I have this incredible team of writers and animators and cinematographers and lighting artists and actors, right? So together we make these things just be the best versions of them. And so having them be fully invested. And by the way, it was a real process. Claudia was like, no, you don't want to hear me do me. And I'm like, yes, I do. I love your terrible sense of humor and your sarcasm. And I just want to capture that. And same thing for Ricky. Ricky said, but, I sound a little too posh and, and I'm supposed to be this soldier. And it's like, but that's amazing, that dichotomy, right? You can both be tough and be you, Ricky. You don't have to put on this like butch American accent in order to pull this off. Like that's boring, right? Let's be a little more nuanced. Let's be a little more true to self.
So no release date just yet.
Not yet.
More to come on that.
No.
So I guess my final question would be, both been making games for a long time. You've seen the industry change in many ways. And you said this is the project, this wants to be your best game ever. How are you feeling about it as it sits right now?
Pretty good. I mean, we've been talking to a lot of people. Again, we've been just completely silent for the last 5 years, which is, as you can tell, we kind of like to talk. It's more that we like to show our math, right? When we showed you the game, we didn't just say, here's the game. We said, this game is like this because here was our logic. It has to be like this because we believe these things to be true. And so it's really nice to be able to finally talk about it and to finally be able to reveal it to the world. And so far, so good. We've gotten a lot of really great feedback. We've had some people come by the studio and check it out over, here and there, and now like more people. And so far seems like what we think is cool, other people are thinking is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been really great because you get so close to something for so long. You're like, is anybody else going to like this? Is anybody else going to feel the way I feel about this? And it's been really great putting it into people's hands and having them say like really complimentary things like get it, because that's really one of the things about this game is it's very easy to just look at it and say, well, isn't that what all games do? Because our whole goal is to try to make this as seamless as possible. And what we're doing is incredibly difficult. It's new. Nobody's ever done this. We have this crazy motion matching database with like hundreds of thousands of connections to make the character move through the environment appropriately. We captured thousands of hours of character movement on this stage to be able to achieve that. Even when you one of the craziest things about this game is that aiming your gun is probably the most complex problem we had to solve but you'll never notice it. That's the point. But the thing that makes it so difficult is because in any traditional third-person cover-based shooter, you would get into cover, and cover, because it is always exactly the same height and it's flat, we know exactly what animation you have to play to aim over it. But because in this game, it's a completely analog space, when you pull that aim down sights trigger, we have to do a ton of calculations to figure out what's going on. Unreal has this system called EQS, the environmental query system. It's usually used by enemy AI as they walk around the environment to determine where's a good place to take cover. We take it off the ground, put it up in front of you, and when you pull that trigger, we say, okay, what is in front of the player? Draw a grid of traces. Okay, there's a rock over here, and there's a tree over there, and there's a thing over here, and it has this exact shape. Therefore, this part of the grid is the only place that they could aim through. Motion matching database. What poses do we have that can get the player to aim over that? Is it a low pose? Is it a high pose? Do they have to lean? Do they have to lean left? What shape does their body have to be in order to aim around that such that the muzzle of the gun is cleared, given where the reticle is projected to? Because the player isn't the character, the player is the reticle, right? You're looking through the reticle. So we have to do a trace from the reticle into the distance and say, what did that hit? Okay, they're probably aiming at that. Choose the correct pose, given the EQS query, to aim through the environment and hit that. And now, as you move the character and the camera, rotate it all around that distant point so that whatever the player is aiming at doesn't change. Because we can't touch that. We got to make sure that that's always at the same place. So we do all this absolutely ridiculous math every time you pull the trigger to aim down sights. And since I know we've been doing our job well, nobody will have any clue that all that stuff is happening. That is,
this with GDC.
I mean, our team has done magic, and they absolutely should do GDC talks about this. But the whole point is like, hopefully, players have no idea all of the crazy stuff.
It just feels natural. It feels good. You just feel like you are in this space, moving naturally, aiming like you would if you were in a space like that, and yeah, you're more immersed.
And because these systems that we've built allow our artists and our designers to build arbitrarily complex organic geometry that is more detailed and more complex in shape and more organic than any third-person cover-based shooter ever before, what the player should experience is like, wow, look at this beautiful environment. Look at how realistic and immersive it is. Look at how I'm able to navigate it and use it the way a real person would. And that's really hard to convey in a 2-minute trailer. It's really hard to convey in a few seconds of gameplay. So,
but, I think gamers are perceptive and they're smart. And I think they're going to see the trailer and they're going to say, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to exactly pinpoint what feels different. I mean, Lucy, maybe you saw it, but our hope again is that people go, wait a second, this is different.
Yeah, this is it. Hopefully people see it and they realize that it's special and different. And, hopefully talking to people like you helps get that message out there.
Well, best of luck. Excited to see more.
Thanks.
For joining me.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
We'll let you know how it goes on Friday.
I'll be there.
Yeah. You'll know how it goes. You can tell us.
And we're back. And this next bit here, we are going to talk about Xbox, but we will say that we have not yet, because we were in bookings all day long at Summer Games, we haven't had the chance to watch the full showcase yet. We've only seen little snippets as we've won.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to talk about the full showcase next time we record. But we will talk about little bits and pieces here because there are little things that we have seen and little trailers with, whatever else. So yeah, major stuff obviously is Gears of War E-Day. So you have seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us. What's the deal?
Cool.
Okay.
So it's what we knew. It's like it takes place E-Day. It's like a prequel story. It's Marcus and Dom. What we saw gameplay was like it literally starting to happen. And so they're like in plain clothes. And it also just showcased kind of like
How thick are the necks?
they're still pretty thick.
Okay.
They're all pretty thick dudes. But
Nice.
so it's still keeping that art style, that environment style. It's a little tweaked, it's a little modernized, but like it looks like Gears.
Okay.
But the gameplay is faster. There is a slide,
Okay.
which is bold.
Nice.
At first I was like, whoa, sliding in Gears of War.
Sure.
But once you see it in action, seems cool.
Nice.
There's also climbing. So there's like verticality now, a lot more verticality.
Right.
And it's just a straight up Gears adventure, like more linear, like how the original games were. It was just a cool trailer. Like it was a really cool. It just essentially started, and it was just like chaos in the streets. It's not like warfare yet. It's literally just like Marcus and Dom just like running around like, what's going on? And like trains are crashing and like buses are exploding and like locusts are coming out of the walls and like they're just figuring it out and like shoot. It was cool. Active reload is still there.
Okay.
It's in the middle of the screen now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. But yeah, I'll talk more about it next week.
Sure.
That's probably the theme with Xbox, I think, is that a lot of stuff we're actually going to be able to talk about more in depth later on. But
for example, Fable. Like they had a new trailer here, but they also were showing us things behind closed doors as well. So we could talk a lot more about that in the next episode.
Haley Atwell is the villain of Fable.
Yeah.
And then the end of the trailer
Nadia
also
from
teased.
What We Do in the Shadows is in it now as well.
Oh, really? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I missed that. But they teased Jack of Blades at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just going to be like a small thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
The Halo campaign evolved. Big reveal here is that they're actually getting new missions added to the campaign, and they're going to take place before the events of the original game. I think it's going to be largely centered on Johnson.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's a nice touch. I'm interested to see how they do with that. So we'll come back to that in the future as well. Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy got a release date for 27th of August, and I'm very excited about that actually because the Plague Tale series,
game.
they were great. They were
This
both,
looks different.
Yeah,
very different.
Yeah, but like they have my goodwill
for
from
sure.
the previous two
Exactly where I'm at with it for sure. Persona 4 Revival is coming February 18th.
Hit me.
And this is
Tag me in,
also
Coach.
that's it. And this is also they didn't do it here. They did it later in the show, but they did reveal the existence of Persona 6.
Yes.
As a very quick teaser.
Wow.
So I will say that when I went to the Sega booth yesterday, internally they had a big poster to celebrate Persona 30th.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well maybe we'll get. I know Revival's coming.
Sure.
Yeah, Persona 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm very excited for Revival. Obviously, the Persona 3 remake went down really, really well. There are some things about 4 that I think have really stood the test of time. I think at the heart of it is that story of friendship. And I think the thing about when I finish a Persona game is that I mourn that I'm not spending time with the characters anymore. And I felt that so keenly with Persona 4. So I'm excited to revisit them all again. I do wonder, I mean, kind of the thing with P3 too, where it's like you go from Persona 5 and Metaphor, which are the handcrafted dungeons, back to the ones that were more procedurally like randomly generated a bit. And so I wonder how it's going to feel to sort of go back to that one. However, the music is still spectacular. I couldn't quite catch. I was trying to do it before. I was trying to figure out if that still was Troy Baker playing Kanji, but I don't know if it. I don't know. And then the Persona 6 reveal.
Yeah.
That was a real hint of a tease.
Yes.
There's not really much to glean from
the
it
logo?
from me. It was like this shot of a bunch of graves and a little bit of text here and there and some flashing stuff. And so I assume someone is going through it frame by frame. For me, honestly, it's just I'm really glad to know it exists. We know that it's been a long time since Persona 5. Even Royal was the last thing that we were shooting in the GameSpot office before lockdown. So that would have been March 2020.
Yeah.
And so just the fact that we know that 6 exists, by my reckoning though, if Revival is next year, I wouldn't expect 6 until 2028.
Don't know. But it's nice to know that's coming.
I'm just really thrilled to know it's coming.
Yep.
Persona is such a special.
See it coming.
Nice, man.
Nice.
State of Decay 3 still exists.
Still exists.
It's coming next year, apparently. Let's see about that, right? Let's just see about that. Metro 2039 is, I actually have not yet seen this trailer. Desperate to see this trailer. Absolutely love the Metro games. And this one's now launching in February 27.
Story ramifications are cool. Like from that initial reveal, like they're really cooking on something different.
Man,
definitely.
September 26 and February 27.
February's always big.
Yeah.
September's usually like a solid month because you're getting into the end of the year. But this September is
it's the Please Avoid
particularly
GTA.
Something's going to move.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I spoke to the Hot Wheels team, the Infinite Rush, and they're like, when I'm like, when's your game coming out? They're like, 24th of September. I'm like, you should think about moving that.
Yeah, we're filling up.
So the reveal of Bad Magpie, which is apparently a British game.
Little British game. We'll
There you
talk about it more next time.
Okay, fantastic. Wolong 2, Wings of Ember, which is Team Ninja going back for another Wolong. I'm guessing it sold really well. I'm guessing in China maybe.
It was cool too. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a great game. I enjoyed it. I didn't play all the DLC because there was a lot of DLC.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there was like a lot of DLC. At least 3, maybe even 4 DLC drops
Maniacs.
for that. Yeah. So they did that. Join Us is a cult game. It's weird, man. It's kind of like GTA, like sandboxy kind of just it's madness. We'll talk more about it later as well. There was a Senua game revealed here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I've not yet seen. Have you guys seen that one yet?
I saw the trailer for it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not really a Senua fan.
The Senua Hellblade 2 did not do it for me at all. I think it's a very beautiful game. I really admire what Ninja Theory do in trying to reduce stigma on mental illness and the way that they treat things like quite respectfully and do their research and stuff. I respect them a lot for all of that. However, in terms of the actual act of playing that game is very not what I'm looking for.
Sure.
And so
it didn't
I'm
leave
interested.
me wanting more.
Sure.
Yep.
No.
And so I'm interested to see what Senua is.
They're changing their approach.
Yes.
Yep. Doom Dark Ages Revelations is some DLC arriving on July 8th.
Love to see it.
I will be there day one.
Good.
Crazy Taxi World Tour. I haven't seen this trailer.
Cool
Did it have the Offspring in it?
Yes, it did.
Fuck yeah, man. I was worried they weren't going to get the rights.
Yeah,
I was like, are they going to cheap out on the rights?
Yep. No, it was Axel and his green hair driving
Excellent.
a car around.
Excellent.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be more than just a San Francisco type city.
Okay,
They're going
okay.
to do other stuff with
Cool,
it. But,
Well,
yeah.
Oakland?
Yes.
They
Oakland confirmed.
They revealed the Xbox 25th anniversary collection. I have not have not used my Xbox very much in the last few years, but I want this Xbox. It looks incredibly
cool.
You don't like the plastic? Oh my god, I love
like Atomic Purple Nintendo.
I used to
shit.
have when my original Xbox. I used to have that clear green.
I did too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved that
Yeah,
shit.
it was great.
I loved it. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I need this." So, Age of Empires: Raiders of the North is an expansion coming out in fall. Minecraft Dungeons 2 has been revealed.
Yeah.
I liked Minecraft Dungeons.
Say again?
I liked the original.
You liked it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
liked Minecraft Dungeons.
I didn't like it purely because I'm like, you couldn't do any terrain destruction,
Yeah.
and you couldn't do any building, and I'm like.
Mm.
That's kind of the whole point of Minecraft. But anyway, look, it was very popular. A lot of people really liked it. It's a
The
very good sort of
kids
like
like it.
baby's first ARPG. It's very good for that. Valor Mortis got a release date 24th of September. This is a first-person Souls-like. I actually previewed this one a little while ago.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
liked it. And what else? Where Winds Meet is coming onto Xbox. There you go.
Cool.
Another look
People
at
like that.
Castlevania Belmont's Curse, which is now launching October 15th, which is cool.
Banger.
That's nice. We talked about Persona 6 already. Spyro, A Realm Beyond.
Not A Realm Reborn, as I keep trying to
Not
say.
A Realm Reborn. That is a different game.
Yeah.
Very small snippet of gameplay.
Yes,
Not a lot
very
to go
tiny.
on.
Well, a lot of
Yes.
flying.
A lot of
as it looks
flying,
like.
yep.
Where's Sparks,
Cool.
though? Where's my
But
boy
I'm
Sparks?
super glad. I love Spyro.
I love
back in the day.
Spyro.
It was
Tom
just
Kenny's back.
so lovely.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Tom Kenny's back.
What was he on?
He's the
Spyro.
voice actor.
Oh, the voice
The
actor.
original
Oh,
voice actor
okay,
was
right.
Spyro.
Fantastic.
He's also SpongeBob.
Oh, okay. Awesome. But yeah, it was just, I love those games. They were fantastic. Clockwork Revolution is the one trailer that I'm devastated to have missed. As soon as I find a spare 5 minutes, I'm going to go and watch
I'm
this
so
trailer.
happy it has a release date.
Yeah,
though.
me too.
And that release date is,
Next year.
it doesn't have a release date. It just says 27.
I'm happy it has a release year.
Window. Okay, right. Okay, fantastic. And then finally, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Not going to lie,
Yeah.
I'm not that interested in Call of Duty. But congrats to all who celebrate. There's a new Call of Duty coming. Who'd
The
have thought?
campaign looks cool.
It's incredible, you know?
Campaign looks cool.
Now, the biggest news out of this showcase was one we'll discuss very briefly because we're on a time and Jake's got to go soon. But the news that 2 of the games that we listed here are not coming to PS5. They were coming to PS5. Now that's been cancelled.
Yoink.
Those 2 games are Gears of War, E-Day,
Console exclusive.
and Clockwork Revolution are both locked in as console exclusive.
Yeah.
They will come to PC and Xbox consoles, and they will never come to PS5. They are never. They are not timed exclusives. They are just full stop, like exclusive to Xbox consoles and PC. How do we feel about that change? Just also as a bit of extra, as a bit of extra flavor for this, they did say that it's going to be on a case. All multiplayer titles are going to continue to be multi-platform, except for their single player stuff. It's going to be on a case by case basis, is what they said. So how do we feel about this? What do you guys think?
Messy.
It's messy, but like just with what they've been saying and how they've been positioning it lately, I'm not like surprised.
No.
Oh no!
The water on the.
Did it pour on the outlet?
It happened. No,
the outlet's fine.
Okay, on the outlet, it's fine. We're actually quite safe. just a bit on the carpet. We're safe.
Dumping water
We're
everywhere.
safe. We're safe. Anyway, go on, Jake. You were saying.
Yeah. What?
How do we, Lucy? How do you feel about the exclusive pivot?
This is what you were saying, so I'll say it.
Steal it.
No, you were just saying that given everything, all the changes recently, it's you.
How they've been talking, how they've been positioning. I'm not surprised.
Oh, Clockwork Revolution is the one that I am most surprised about because it feels like it perhaps has a slightly smaller audience already, and I think like putting it on PlayStation would give it more of a helping hand. Maybe it was just the one that you could do that with more easily. I just want them to figure that shit out.
Here's
and
what I
stick to it.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think that having a new leader in place gives you a little bit of latitude to sort of like reset the table, right? So I feel like we can't really call it flip-flopping. Like it is flip-flopping, of course, right?
That's why I'm saying messy rather than
sure, but like at the same time, it wasn't Xbox has not been working for the last however long, and you've got a new leader in place now who's trying to like figure out a way to make it work, and this is something that she wants to try, right? And a lot of people have said this is something you should try. Personally, I'm actually quite torn on it. Personally, in all other circumstances, I would be like, this is a great move. I 100% support it. I'm all on board with this. I think you need to fight for your platform. I think exclusives are the way you fight for a platform and like you fight to get people onto it. And I know that means some people can't play those games. I get that. But I think fighting for overall platform health is important, right? Because otherwise, I just don't think this industry works unless we've got good, strong platforms that are fighting each other, essentially, you know what I mean? Like, and trying to one-up each other, compete, right?
Yeah.
The flip side, though, is that this is happening at the exact same moment that console prices are like skyrocketing because of the memory shortage. Yeah. And usually when we're this deep into a console generation, the prices have dropped substantially versus launch.
And it would be a good play.
And it would be a great play to be like, you know what? Now we're at the back end of a console generation. Console prices are down to like $350 or whatever, $400. We think we have a good library behind us. We think we're a good purchase for you. And we've got some exclusive content that we think deserves your money. So this is the decision we're making. That to me is a slam dunk sell. But right now, if you've got to fork out like $1,000 for an Xbox after an entire generation where nothing has been exclusive, and then the next generation is like in, I don't know, what they're already talking about Helix. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that's where that is very messy and unfortunate. And like, that's not Xbox's fault, obviously, because like that they
Market
didn't
conditions and all that.
totally, you know? So they're caught in between a rock and a hard place. And I think that if this was just happening with the launch of Helix and they were announcing that pivot there, I think it's much better and cleaner for them to make that jump in that moment, that change of policy. But to jump into it here, I don't know, man. That's pretty, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? And again, not their fault. Because I personally, otherwise, if console prices were reasonable, I would 100% be behind this this decision.
But unfortunately,
so it's not the world we live in right now.
No, but it sets the stage for like when Helix is eventually a thing, that's going to continue to be a thing, and maybe eventually when things settle.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be more
It
of a normal
prevents
thing
like a potential negative outlook when Helix comes out, they pivoted that completely. Like laying the groundwork now, letting the dust settle, and then you go into Helix with hopefully a more
concrete plan.
I can't really imagine that it results in like a lot of new Xbox console sales. That's the thing, right? Because I think Gears of War is a very, very, very Xbox franchise. And I think the people who are excited about it already own an Xbox.
Sure do.
And Clockwork Revolution, it looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I don't know that it would necessarily be a system seller. And if it were to be a system seller, it would need to be such an absurd system seller that it would need to push against all those other forces that I just described a minute ago. And I hope they don't get a bad data set out of this. I hope that they don't go, oh, we tried to do some exclusives.
It didn't work.
They didn't work. Consoles didn't sell and games didn't sell. Therefore, exclusives are bad. I think that's dumb, you know, but I don't know. Hopefully the Xbox people, there's some smart people working there. They'll like not do that, but who knows?
They're keeping it interesting. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's never boring.
Yeah.
You've got to get a flight.
You've got to get out of here, man. We've got to wrap this
we
shit.
were supposed to wrap 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
But yeah, overall, a good summer games.
Oh yeah. So much more to talk
We
about.
have so
for the
much
future,
to talk
like for the
about.
next God knows how long.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a good showing.
Yep.
Lots of games, hands-on time, lots of stuff behind closed doors, lots to share. And look, great to see you guys in person.
Always
a pleasure.
Always.
And
Lucy?
we're doing handshakes, are we, man?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Fantastic.
Thank you all for being here.
Yep.
You
And
know
don't
the
forget
deal.
to sign up for.
Looking for .game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't forget to sign up to our newsletter as well.
Oh yeah.
So bars this
For
week
when,
for
when that goes out. Don't forget to subscribe. Please do leave reviews on the podcast platforms. We do
please.
appreciate
Thank
that. Spotify, Apple, wherever else you get your podcasts. On the YouTube channel, hit the like button. Drop a comment down below. Tell us what you thought about Summer Games and what your favorite game was and all that sort of jazz. And
For now, tie your shoes and go to bed.